things happen to place kickers in the NFL. The Chicago Bears blocked this field goal try by Green Bay's Chester Marco. But the ball comes right back into his hands. And Marco, with dreams of glory, heads for the goal line in overtime. A place kicker. Marco wins the game for Green Bay, 12-6. And the Chicago Bears, the favorites, are beaten by the Pack. Meanwhile, the New Orleans Saints are playing the San Francisco 49ers. Russell Ertzlaber of the Saints trying for a field goal to send the game into overtime. He flat out misses it from 34 yards out. Is he unhappy? You bet. The 49ers win the football game 26-23 over the Saints. So today, the Saints and the Bears are looking for their first victories of the NFL season. The NFL on CBS. And we are in Chicago at Soldier Field. Hello, everyone. Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris here, where the Bears and the Saints look for victory number one. And, of course, the Saints come in with that explosive offense led by Archie Manning.
That's right. They lost the ball game last week, but Archie Manning completed 25 of 40 passes, Tim, and that's not too bad. And as you know, the Saints are explosive. And I've been doing a little bit of research and checking the Bears' situation the last 3 or 4 years, and they have had a tendency with their complicated blitzes and defenses to have problems with veteran quarterbacks. They do well against young rookie quarterbacks who can't pick up those blitzes, but against the veterans, the Bears have lost a lot of those games. Archie Manning has to qualify as an experienced, good veteran, so I expect the Saints to score some points. The Bears are going to have to score more if they're going to win.
Well, they only had 6 in their loss to Green Bay a week ago, did the Chicago Bears, and offense for them is always led by number 34, Walter Payton.
Yes, they've been accused of conservatism, but Payton is the heart of the Chicago Bears. They've got to get the running game going, then the passing will come. And if the Saints stop Payton, the Bears are going to be in trouble. And I'm sure that even though they talk about this conservatism, that the Bears are still going to try and run Payton and then open things up.
Well, there are two teams that figured to have good seasons. A playoff team, the Bears, an 8-8 team under Dick Nolan, the Saints, looking for big things in 1980. But today, they're looking for their first victory. And we're ready for the opening kickoff, so let's go down to the field. The Saints will receive. Bob Thomas will kick it off. Number 41, rookie running back Jimmy Rogers is the deep man, along with Rich Motti, number 84. Motti in the end zone, and he's going to bring it out. The 20-yard line, took a tough hit at the 19 by Brad Shearer and fell over the 20-yard line to the 21. And so the New Orleans Saints in white with black and gold trim will defend to our right, and they will have the ball for the opening offensive series. The Bears to our left in their home dark uniforms with white trim. And the New Orleans backfield, what a pair. Tony Galbraith and Chuck Muncie. The wide receivers are Wes Chandler, Ike Harris. The tight end is Larry Hardy, playing for the injured Henry Childs. And Hardy had a good game a week ago. First down from the 21-yard line. Archie Manning, number 8, at quarterback. First down pass play, something they did a lot last week. And it's incomplete, intended for the tight end Hardy. On the coverage was Gary Fensick, number 45, the safety. The rest of that Saints offense has James Taylor and Stan Brock at tackles, Robert Woods and Emmanuel Zanders at guard, John Hill at center.
And I think, Tim, we see the tenor of this game already. First play, Archie Manning comes out and throws the ball. The Bears had a confusing defense. He shows his mobility. He got away, and I think we're going to be in for some excitement today. It's not going to be any 6-6 game.
Manning threw 13 times on first down last week against San Francisco. Second and 10, split left is Chandler. Wide right is Harris. Straight drop, complete to the tight end. Hardy flaring out from the tight end position, knocked out of bounds by Fensick. Got to the 30-yard line short of the first down by about 2 yards. So Manning is 1 for 1, and the aerial-minded Saints have gone to the air immediately. And yet, remember, Chuck Muncie rushed for 1,100 yards a year ago. There's the Chicago front four. Hampton and Hartenstein, Page and Osborne, the linebackers, Muckensturm, Hicks, and Campbell. And an experienced secondary. Schmidt, Fensick, Plank, and Allen Ellis. Muncie nearly fumbled that ball on the pitch out. The Bears get there quickly to stop him for a loss. Muckensturm, the linebacker, number 58, first man to hit him. And the Saints will have to punt.
The Bears lined up in a tight defense, and Archie Manning may have checked that off because it looked like it was cramped up in the middle, went to the outside, and the Bears just had this slant to the outside and stopped it, so Chicago's going to get the ball.
It'll be Russell Erxleben standing at his 15-yard line. The lone deep safety is Lenny Walterscheid for Chicago at the 32 of the Bears. Short punt taken at the 40. Hit at the 45-yard line. The Bears will start with good field position. Dave Waymer, the rookie from Notre Dame, along with the veteran Don Schwartz on the tackle for New Orleans. And so the Chicago Bears' first offensive series from their own 46-yard line, and we'll be back here at Soldier Field with the score tied 0-0. Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris in Chicago. First down offensive series for the Bears. Payton and Williams are the running backs. You're looking at Mike Phipps, the quarterback. Phipps threw 30 times last week in the losing cause, and he's throwing on first down. Sideline intended for the tight end, Mike Cobb, overthrown. So each quarterback, Johnny, throwing on first down. Sideline passes to the tight ends, both incomplete.
Mike Phipps did throw 30 passes last week, and they talk about conservative football, but they had some problems with interception, and then they got away from their passing game towards the end of the game. As you look at the Chicago backfield, and here are the wide receivers. James Scott, tons of speed. Michael Cobb, the tight end. And there is the line that's been together for several years.
All right. Bashnagel is split wide right. Payton and Williams in the throw set. Second down pass try. Complete. Walter Payton. Good catch out of the backfield. Gain of about 5 on the play. Over the midfield stripe. Knocked out of bounds by the linebacker.
And you can see they brought both backs out. Took Payton out into the flat, hoping to get a one-on-one situation. Mathis brought him down. And that's a good situation. Anytime you can get Walter Payton with a linebacker covering one-on-one, but Mathis did a fine job. But we're seeing a definite tendency, a lot of passes early.
Third down, 5 to go. Saints send in an extra defensive back, Dave Waymer, number 22. In this passing situation, wide right is Bashnagel. Left is James Scott. Phipps, incomplete. Intended for Matt Suey, the rookie from Penn State, coming into the backfield for that third down play, but he could not hold on, and the Bears will punt.
Same type of patterns for the Bears. They're bringing the backs out just like the New Orleans Saints do. They had a little twist there in the Saints defensive line. Suey was right open, but the pass was a little bit high. Almost a one-handed snare and almost an interception. The Bears threw every down that series.
Rich Motti is back to receive the punt from Bob Parsons. Number 84, Rich Motti, picked up as a free agent, and he has been a valuable man on this team, and especially so today. Punt hits at the 10-yard line, and it's going to be down right at the 1. And the punter, Bob Parsons, came up with a terrific punt, got a good bounce, covered by Lee Coons, 48 yards, and New Orleans will start in the shadow of their goal line from the 2. And under overcast skies, New Orleans will try to bring it out when we return.
I'm not the same crazy coach who used to storm around the sidelines yelling at the officials. I've learned to relax, and I drink light beer from Miller. Do you know that light's got 1/3 less calories than a regular beer? And listen to this. Light doesn't fill me up. Besides that, light tastes fantastic. Oh, sure, there are a lot of other beers around, and you can drink any one you want. But let me tell you this. For
light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
As I was saying, I don't care what anybody else...
What happened to him?
He was in a car accident.
With a massive chest injury, fluid builds up, and that could suffocate a patient. Chest drainage is critical at this time. We use a system with a single collection jar made out of an almost shatterproof plastic developed by Phillips Petroleum.
Let's do another X-ray.
And that's important.
Because replacing broken jars takes time. And some patients don't have much time.
Phillips Petroleum. Good things for cars and the people who drive them.
Next, 3:30 Eastern, Hilmer Kenty defends his WBA lightweight title against ex-champion Ernesto Espana. You'll say you saw it on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
From the 2-yard line, Archie Manning brings the Saints out. First down, Chuck Muncie. Off tackle, right side, picked up about 4. Pulled down by the safety, Gary Fensick, number 45. Chuck Muncie, last week, rushed for 57 yards against San Francisco and caught 5 passes. A year ago, 1,198 yards, the 5th best rusher in the NFC.
It's not too often that a team will gain 400 yards on offense and lose a ball game. Saints fans got to be wondering about that.
Coach Rowland was not too pleased, to say the least. Muncie again. Off the left tackle side. Got through Mike Hartenstein. Had the first pop at him. Good second effort. Knocked him forward. And he's still short of the first down. Hampton made the tackle. Dan Hampton from the left defensive end. Setting that Bears defense again. Dan Hampton and Mike Hartenstein. Osborne and Page are the tackles. Now the extra defensive back comes in. Walter Scheid along with rookie linebacker Otis Wilson from Louisville. In this passing situation, 3rd and 2. Will they pass? Muncie behind the line, and diving in was Osborne, and finishing him off was Alan Page. A big defensive play for the Bears.
Let's take a look at number 68, Jim Osborne, as he found the gap and came through and took the dive right there and upset Muncie, and that allowed everybody else, Alan Page, number 82, to get in on it, and the Saints will have to punt. The Bears should end up with good field position.
In the end zone, Russell Ertzleben, number 14. Good kick, excellent kick, over midfield. Bouncing and then takes a Bears bounce, is down by Schwartz at the 45-yard line of New Orleans. So indeed, Chicago will be starting with good field position, following the excellent punt by Parsons, which set back New Orleans to the 2-yard line. A 35-yard punt, as it turned out, from Ertzleben has Chicago in possession, with the ball spotted at the 44-yard line of New Orleans. And so the Bears will go on the attack with 11:38 remaining, first period here at Soldier Field. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of the Bears in the National Football League is prohibited. Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris. First down, Bears at the Saints 44. Dave Williams hit behind the line of scrimmage. Penetrating well for the Saints was number 72, Mike Fultz, the 4-year man from Nebraska.
Now you can see Fisher coming in to bring the play in. The Bears had a lot of problems with getting plays in on time last week, Tim. They were taking too much time. They're trying to cut down the length of the call of the play so that the quarterback, looks like they're having a problem there. But anyway, so the quarterback makes the calls from an original call.
The 30-second clock is out.
The 30-second clock is out, and so they couldn't count down whether the Bears were making it in time out of the huddle or not. Looks like it's been restored, so the officials took that time out to reorganize.
I don't know if I made myself clear on that last explanation, but anyway, the man bringing in the play will give the abbreviated play, and the quarterback takes care of the rest of it.
All right, our referee today is Bob McElwee. Bears shifting into the eye. Mike Phipps at the controls. The motion along the line, a flag is down. Payton off tackle, did not get much. A yard at most. Hit by Derlin Moore, number 74, forcing him back inside, and Clarence Chapman along with Fettersfield put the tackle on him. And it looked like Mike Fultz might have been, was it Moore or Fultz? Moore might have been the early man on the play for the Saints. Referee Bob McElwee will make it official. Here's the play again. There it is, Moore. Jumping offside.
Offside, defense, number 74.
That'll make it second, about 4.5. The ball is now at the 38-yard line of the New Orleans Saints. Wide left goes Scott. Out to the right comes Baschnagel. We have not seen Ricky Watts as yet, who suffered a bone bruise in his ankle last week in the loss to Green Bay, but is expected to play today. Play action. Screen pass, Payton. First down inside the 30 to the 28-yard line of New Orleans. Pushed out of bounds by Ricky Ray, the second-year cornerback from Norfolk State.
You can see that the Saints were in that little flex defense that they have, but the play-action pass, there's Payton up into the traffic, and he gets out. And there is a mistake. Anytime Payton gets up there into the flow, you got to keep your eye on him. And he makes the first down for Chicago. Here's the isolation of Walter. The fake of the handoff. Nobody hits him, and he gets out and then takes it the rest of the way. 2 pass receptions for Payton already today.
First down, Bears. Driving in New Orleans territory. Matt Suey and Payton, the running backs. A block from Suey, and Payton runs it to the 23. On the hit was Ray Brown, number 27, the strong safety, along with Tommy Myers, the free safety. Gain of about 6 on the play, 2nd and 4.
Good block by the rookie Matt Suey as he kicked Brown out, allowing Payton to go inside. And notice from the I formation how deep Payton is set. He's sometimes 7-8 yards behind the line of scrimmage. And remember the old days, they used to be 3-4 yards from the line of scrimmage.
Dave Williams has come back in for Suey. Payton goes up on the wing and now shifts back. And a lot of shifting so far by the Bears offensively. Payton cutting it back behind the center and the right guard. Short of the first down, got to the 20-yard line where linebacker Reggie Mathis sliced over with help from Myers, the safety. The ball right at the 20-yard line will be 3rd and a little less than 2. Robin Earl, the tight end, comes in, bringing a play. He's the converted fullback. Johnny, you saw the Bears during the preseason. Has that been a good experiment?
So far, he's done very well. It's quite an adjustment to play fullback all your life and then switch to tight end, but he's good, a real good blocker.
Earl and Cobb are in the double tight end in the short yardage, and now Bashnagle lines up on the right wing. Williams hit right at the line of scrimmage for no gain. Excellent defensive work by the Saints, stacking him up. Joe Fetterspiel, the middle linebacker, blasted in there.
And Derlin Moore was in there, and Fetterspiel, and you can see number 50, Ken Bordelon, all of them right there. Tommy Myers even got up there, number 37, so the Bears are going to have to go for the field goal. Bob Thomas has become kind of a Mr. Automatic for Chicago lately.
They'll spot it at the 27-yard line. It'll be a 37-yard attempt for number 16. It is good. Bob Thomas, with a little wind assistance, knocks it cleanly through, and the Bears have opened the scoring. Here at Soldier Field, we have 8:37 remaining in the first period. The Bears 3 and the Saints nothing.
Next Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 1979 Derby and Preakness winner Spectacular Bid is slated to lead the pack of the 1980 Woodward Stakes. You'll say you saw it on CBS Sports.
Bob Thomas will kick it off for the Bears. And Rich Motti brings it from just behind the goal line. Motti over the 20 to the 21, where he is stopped. First man down there was Otis Wilson, along with Al Harris, number 90. Well, some interesting scores, Johnny, this second week of the NFL season. Atlanta, 28-14. They still have 3 minutes remaining in the first half. Steve Bartkowski with 3 touchdown passes.
And Philadelphia is leading Minnesota 14-7. That game is in the second quarter. And
Buffalo leading the Jets 10-3 in the second period. First down for the Saints here in Chicago. Oh, raw play. Big hole, Muncie. Still going out to the 38-yard line. Chuck Muncie. Allen Ellis and Gary Campbell finally stop him. But what a beautiful play for the Saints.
And watch Robert Woods, number 65, as he drops back and then picks up the middle linebacker right there. He hits Tom Hicks. That was the key block as Muncie carries that ball rather loosely, but he seems to tuck it away right at the time of impact. Pretty good running by Muncie. A good play. And he did tuck it away at the last moment, didn't he?
First down for the Saints on a perfectly executed draw play. Manning brings them out. Split left is Chandler. Wide right is Ike Harris. Muncie and Galbraith, the running backs. Motion along that line, and it may be that the Saints drew the Bears over.
The Saints were trying to call an audible If you noticed, Alan Page shifted over right in front of the center, and you saw Manning's head turn, and he was trying to check off the play, and everybody got a little bit confused, and that's where the Bear defenses sometimes can mess up a quarterback.
There you saw the infraction.
False start, number 79, offense.
Emmanuel Zanders, the culprit. The referee, Bob McElwee. The rest of the officials, umpire Al Conway, head linesman Dave Hawk, line judge John Everett, back judge Ray Douglas, side judge Bob Rice. The field judge is Ed Merrifield today. And it is first down and 15. The Saints in white to our right. Ball at their own 34. And he complete, wide open. Chandler with a lot of running room gets the first down and into Bears territory at the 49. He was pulled down by Doug Plank, number 46, but Chandler, Johnny, was wide open.
He certainly was. He waited for the back, Muncie, number 42, who has good speed. Now watch to the left there. He goes straight down the field, clears the zone, and Chandler comes in underneath. And when he gets his hands on the ball, watch out. Doug Plank there in on the tackle, but not before Chandler, who got the first down. And he had 7 passes for more than 50 yards last year. How about that?
And 65 catches last year. He was a busy receiver. An 18-yard gain, first down. New Orleans at Chicago's 49. Play action. Chandler complete for another first down. Slicing into the middle on the coverage was Allen Ellis, the cornerback, and Plank coming up to help, but Chandler again open enough to catch it.
Nice play action by Manning. He faked the run here, turns, and Chandler's up at the top, bottom of your screen, comes across the field, and there is Manning right in there. Another first down, and the great thing about Archie Manning is he hits everybody. Both wide receivers will catch a lot of balls today. The tight end, Hardy, caught 6 passes last week. The backs, I think Galbraith had 9 last week.
First down, New Orleans driving. Draw play, Muncie, another big hole. Muncie may go inside the 15 to the 11-yard line. Terry Schmidt pulled him down from behind. And twice they've executed that draw play to perfection.
Why leave a good thing, says Archie Manning. So after throwing the passes, he comes back with the hole. Look at that hole. John Hill, the center, made a great block there. And if Terry Schmidt hadn't have dropped off here, Muncie would have had the touchdown, but they're in great field position. The Saints are marching.
The ball at the 13-yard line of Chicago. New Orleans with a beautifully executed drive thus far. Wide left comes Chandler, split right Ike Harris. He's in motion behind the ball. Muncie sweeping. Cut down just over the line of scrimmage, picked up maybe a yard. Muckenstern, the linebacker, fighting off a block to make the hit. Pickup of a yard on the play. It'll bring up 2nd and 9. At Milwaukee, Detroit leads Green Bay 3-0 on a 32-yard field goal by Eddie Murray in the first period. Pittsburgh and Baltimore are scoreless. Now make that Pittsburgh 3, Baltimore nothing on a Matt Barr field goal. 7:35 remaining in the first period. Pitch out Muncie. Nowhere to go. He's cut down at the 10-yard line. Gary Fensick, the safety, with help from Gary Campbell, the linebacker, and a gain of maybe a yard and a half at most.
This is their first run to the left side. Number 54, Tom Hicks, was the key. He's the middle linebacker. He went down the line, avoided the blocks, and prevented the cut-up and made a good play for the defense. So now we have a key play, 3rd down and about 6.
You know, Muncie's carried the ball 8 times already. Those 2 big gainers give him 51 yards. 6 defensive backs in on this passing play. 6 defensive backs for the Bears. Manning with a long count. Muncie sweeping right. And they come down again. Just inside the 10. Doug Plank, number 46, made the hit. Muncie, waiting for the blocking to materialize, hesitated a hair. When he turned it on, the Bears were there. Big defensive play by Chicago brings up 4th down.
And Doug Plank will hit you, number 46. He's like a flying missile, and he came through all the interference and knocked it down, and now we'll see how the young man who had a rough week last week is.
Russell Erkslavin will attempt the placement from the 17-yard line, make it the 16. It'll be a 26-yard try. Slavin steady as she goes, and this game is tied up. And so an excellent drive by New Orleans finally stopped at the 10-yard line of the Bears, but they come up with the tying field goal with time winding down now in this first period of play. Fairly windy right now, Johnny, as the wind seems to have come up, and we are not seeing any blue skies yet. It was supposed to be a pleasant sunny day, but it's been overcast and getting more windy.
It's probably the coolest day in Chicago all summer, if you can still call this summer. This is a sellout. In fact, an all-time Chicago Bear record for attendance at home, 64,000. However, it was not sold out on the 72-hour blackout, so it's not being seen in the city of Chicago, but they're seeing it in the outlying areas and, of course, back there around New Orleans country.
Well, there are 7,000 new seats here at Soldier Field. They filled in the left end zone to complete the bowl, and it's the beginning of a 4-year renovation plan that will bring old Soldier Field into modern times. And so I guess maybe some of the fans were taken a bit by surprise that there were all those seats available, that many more, and they didn't get sold out in time for the TV blackout to be lifted. But at 10:20 this morning, they had sold the last ticket for the game. Dave Williams is the deep man. You can see him just inside the 10 now, backing up near the 5. Mike Ulmer and Willie McClendon are the up men. Ertzlaven's kickoff is short. It bounces past Ulmer. He regains it at the 20. And he's dropped at the 19-yard line. Wayne Wilson, number 30, is there to put the hit on him, along with 51 Stan Holloway, reserve linebacker. Mike Ulmer, kind of an interesting story, Johnny.
Yes, he has been trying to make it on with teams for 2 or 3 years and has finally stuck with the Bears as an extra safety and a cornerback. And that was kind of a dangerous play. The Saints almost nabbed that ball. A lot of players don't realize that you can fair catch a kickoff if you want.
Everybody's onside when you kick it off. The ball is now at the 19-yard line. First down, Bears. Michael Phipps at the controls. Payton and Williams the running backs. First down pass complete to James Scott. What a hit. He took from Ricky Ray, but he held on to the ball, and it looks like he has the first down yardage. Yes, he does, from the spot of forward progress, and the Bears come out.
A simple turn, and notice Payton going out on the flat. That takes the linebacker out of the play and allows Scott to have that lane there. And, boy, I'll tell you, Ricky Ray came up and really popped James Scott.
Ray, the number 6 pick last year, spent most of the season on injured reserve. Being pushed a little bit by the rookie Dave Waymer for that right cornerback spot. First down, Chicago. Draw play, Williams. Williams stacked up by the linebacker Bordelon, number 50, and Don Reese, the defensive end. Gain of maybe 2. Let's call it 2nd and 8. In comes the rookie tight end Robert Fisher, the Bears' 12th round pick from SMU this year. Out comes Robin Earl, the converted running back, who's now on the tight end core. They're without Greg Latta, who's out with a hand injury, and Roland Harper, the fine fullback who had knee problems last year and is now on the injured reserve with a hamstring pull. 2nd and 8. Phipps to throw, complete to Payton. Payton spins away from one defender. That was Mathis. And finally is pulled down by Bordelon with help from Ray Brown. First down, Bears.
It's amazing how they leave Walter Payton alone. Watch him circle out of the backfield, and there's nobody really assigned to him. He comes out there, and you take a guy like Walter Payton, boy, you got to have somebody on him, and he gets away from Mathis, and he could have broken this for a long run. But notice the mobility. Finally, Mathis makes a good play by coming back after being faked out and makes the tackle, but they're going to have to keep a close eye on Mr. Payton.
First down, Chicago at their own 44-yard line. Play action again. Phipps deep. And Scott overthrown. And Scott had his man beaten, Clarence Chapman, number 24. And Phipps threw that ball a long way, Johnny.
Well, he's got to do that because Scott has such tremendous speed, and so does Chapman. But when Scott gets even with you, he can really turn it on. Pretty good pass blocking for Phipps. Let's watch the rush by New Orleans. A straight 4-man rush. Nobody gets close. He turns it on. You can notice the speed here but the ball was just overthrown, incomplete, but the Bears are not playing conservative football as they did last week.
They sure aren't. Chris Haynes has come in to give James Scott a rest after his long run. Slot formation left. Dashnagel in the slot. Phipps on 2nd and 10. Complete to the tight end, Fisher, and he breaks a tackle. Robert Fisher. Touchdown! Robert Fisher, the rookie from SMU, breaks it down the sidelines, and the Bears go in front 9-3, and listen to the crowd.
Young rookie, one of the last players drafted. In fact, the Bears' last draft choice, he hasn't played all that much, but he got a situation where the Bears set it up. They brought the backs out, and he was a man-for-man situation. Ray Brown had to make the tackle right here, and it was a key one. He hit him high, but he's a big man, 240 pounds almost, and he turned it on, and he moves. He's like Earl Campbell down that sidelines, isn't he?
Robert Fisher, 56 yards for the score. The point after by Thomas. And with 41 seconds remaining in this first quarter, the Bears have exploded onto the scoreboard with a touchdown. And they go in front of the New Orleans Saints 10-3. Well, Robert Fisher, currently third on the three deeps behind, has been a starter, is on the injured reserve with a hand injury, but I'd say that young Mr. Fisher helped his cause sticking with his team with that big play.
And more importantly for Chicago, they have had a tendency to ignore the tight ends over the years. A tight end caught a key pass for him. Archie Manning does not ignore the tight ends.
Lead man is Rich Motti, waiting the kickoff from Bob Thomas. The Bears going 80 yards in 5 plays. 56-yard touchdown pass to Fisher. The up men for the Saints are Jimmy Rogers and Wayne Wilson. Rogers is the rookie running back. As we see that Chicago drive, it used up only 2:34. Jimmy Rogers, a first-year man from Oklahoma, but in the Canadian League. Wayne Wilson, a second-year man from Little Shepherd College. So Bob Thomas, who has a field goal and a point after to his credit so far, will kick it off. Motti brings it out behind the wedge. Cannot get to the 20-yard line. He was met there by Otis Wilson, the rookie linebacker, the Bears' #1 pick. And right behind him was Ron Rideout. So the Saints will try to move it again. Remember, they had an excellent drive the last time they had the ball. They came up with a field goal at the end of it when the Bears finally stopped them at the 10.
I was talking to Coach Dick Nolan last night about the philosophy with Manning. He gets to call all his own plays with a little advice sometimes between series, whereas the Bears send every play in from the sidelines. I said, you ever thought about wigwagging plays into Archie Manning? He said, no, he knows as much about the game as I do. And he's such a smart quarterback and a mobile quarterback.
We saw the time remaining first quarter. Saints first down. Galbraith straight ahead behind the left tackle, J.T. Taylor. Pulled his way for about 3 yards. Hartenstein, Page, a bunch of Bears were in on it. Campbell, a linebacker. Call it 2nd and 7 for New Orleans.
Did you know the Saints scored more than 30 points 6 times last year?
Well, you know, you can see they were a team on the rise. They finished with an 8-8 record a year ago, and that's what made the loss so disappointing for Saints fans last week, because when you come off a good, optimistic season, you think that you should get out to a good start the following year. But it is only one of 16 games, and that's the end of the first quarter. 10-3 Bears.
American NFL on CBS. Today's game is sponsored by Light Beer, everything you always wanted in a beer and less. And by the American Motors, Concord, Spirit, and Eagle, built to last from American Motors.
The man of the moment, Archie Manning, number 8, the veteran quarterback who engineered a drive for a field goal the last time the Saints had the ball. He has 2nd and 7 in Saints territory at the 22. Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris. As we see that halftime score, that's a lot of points up there. Atlanta, New England. High formation for the Saints. I believe the first time we've seen that look so far today. Play action. They flare it out to Chandler, who's hit immediately by Gary Campbell. Chandler juggled the ball, but I think had he even made the first sure-handed catch, he didn't have much room to maneuver over there. Campbell was very much on the play.
There's Philadelphia leading Minnesota 14-7 at the half. And there, Buffalo 10, the Jets 3 at the half.
So it is 3rd down and 9, as it was a loss of 2 on the good defensive play by Campbell. And 6 defensive backs are in the Bears backfield here on this passing situation for New Orleans. Out to the right is Harris, left is Chandler. Up the middle for the tight end, incomplete, but a flag is down. It was intended for Hardy. Fensick on the coverage. And the infraction would appear to be against the Bears. There's also, however, a flag in the New Orleans backfield, and a good guess would be holding against the Saints back there.
So we may have a couple of penalties negating one another. We may have the play run over again. Here's an update. The Lions, after beating the Rams, now lead Green Bay.
Well, if you're a good lip reader, you picked up on that. That was Bob McElwee. His microphone isn't working, and you could see from the signals holding against the Saints. Illegal use of the hands.
Holding.
Here we are.
Defensive pass interference. Defensive holding. Offset, replay the down.
Okay, well, you get 2 against the Bears, 1 against the Saints, and you still come out all even.
That's right. And, you know, last week they had over 200 penalties in the NFL. They've had a lot of them this year.
Well, I think part of that is that in the early season, they've had only 4 preseason games to work out the kinks instead of the 6 the way they used to. So the early season games seem to have more penalties in it. Manning straight back, up the middle, complete to Galbraith. Galbraith, away from Muckensturm, has the first down yardage, and the Saints bring it out smartly under pressure all the way to their 37-yard line.
Sidearm Archie, they call him. The Bears haven't been blitzing all that much. They've got 4 men coming in. He has to kind of throw this sidearm, and there it is, right in the old, a little bit behind him, but Galbraith made a nice grab, and he carries that ball rather loosely, too.
Well, he and Muncie have big hands. I guess that's the answer. He got 9 last week. As you mentioned earlier, he is their key receiver out of the backfield. First down, Saints on the move again. Harris in motion behind the ball. Play action, and Manning taking it the other way, upfield. Incomplete, intended for Harris. Terry Schmidt may have got a hand on that. We'll see if we can pick it up on the replay.
Unbelievable play. You're going to see Alan Page, number 82, go right by Archie Manning. He doesn't know it. He thought he handed the ball off. There goes 82 right there. He says, where's the ball? And there comes Archie out, and they almost had a touchdown on this play, a broken play. If it had been just a little further, Harris might have had the touchdown. Actually, it hit him in the hands there. Maybe Schmidt might have deflected it slightly.
Yeah, you can't really tell there. It was a little hard to say whether Schmidt got a hand on it or not. It might have just gone off Harris's hands. In any event, it is 2nd and 10, and there are Archie's passing stats off to a good start. But they trail on the scoreboard 10-3. Draw play. Muncie again, a big gainer. Muncie to the 43-yard line of the Bears. Allen Ellis, number 48. Gary Fensick, number 45, finally stop them. And they're killing them with that draw play, Johnny.
They sure are. That's been the big play for them. Let's take a look at it. Let's watch Zanders and Hill right there in the middle lane. Robert Wood. They just clean him out, and then Muncie just makes an adjustment, dips to the outside. Pretty good tackle here by Ellis. You got Muncie coming at you full on, and Ellis made a nice tackle, and Gary Fensick helped out to bring him down.
Chuck Muncie's got 70 yards rushing, and we've just begun the second period here. Getting a well-deserved rest. They bring Wayne Wilson in, number 30, to join Galbraith. First down, Galbraith. Bears penetration, and he gets nowhere, maybe a yard. Osborne dove in there to turn him upfield sooner than he wanted, and Alan Page made the tackle. A gain of half a yard, maybe a yard at the most. We look at that Bears defense. Young Dan Hampton, the 2nd-year man from Arkansas. What a rookie year he had. Mike Hartenstein, a 6-year man from Penn State. Alan Page begins his 14th season. acquired on waivers from Minnesota 2 years ago. He's found a home with the Bears. And Jim Osborne, the underrated 9-year man from Southern University. Harris in motion. Manning forced out. Upfield, complete to Harris, who was open. Coming back to help out his quarterback. Found lots of area. And the Saints have a first down at the 21 of Chicago. Fensick made the tackle.
Archie Manning, he is something else. That's why a football game with New Orleans Saints is always exciting. The Bears put the rush on. There's 4 of them. Hampton got caught inside. Brock made a nice tackle, a nice block, I should say, and Manning is so mobile, he just came out and looked for the first man to be open, and it was Ike Harris.
First down, Saints driving once more. They're at the 21 of Chicago. They trail 10-3.
Boy, that was a good block by the rookie, Brock. He really took care of Hampton.
Stan Brock, the number 1 pick out of Colorado, became his starter right away. Draw play, Wilson. This time they get him. Page got a piece. The first penetration again by Osborne, who slowed him up for Mark Hartenstein and Alan Page, and he got really zipped. Might have lost a half a yard. In fact, they're going to mark a yard loss, so it'll be 2nd and 11.
You run so many draws like that, there is a method to the madness, and that is that if you'd run a few of those, and especially if you're successful, those linemen, those Bear defensive linemen, are always going to take that little hesitation to look for the draw, and that affects their pass rush.
Well, the Bears try to slow down the Saints again, who drove into the 10 and had to settle for the field goal on their last drive. Wilson continues in the backfield with Galvin. Flags and whistles. And they may have used up a little too much time. He probably was trying to audibilize up at the line there and didn't get the play off.
He was trying to tell Ike Harris to come in motion. He was the left split end, and you may have noticed at the huddle, up behind the center, Manning was saying, come on. He waved his hand, and Harris was a little slow on picking it up, and it cost him that extra 2 or 3 seconds and a penalty.
Well, this is a key penalty.
Delay of the game, offense. 2nd down.
Both these teams suffered from these kinds of penalties in their opening games. They would move the ball well and then come up with an untimely penalty, which set them back, and they either came up empty or settled for field goals. 2nd and about 16, 17 for the Saints, and 6 defensive backs are in again for the Chicago Bears in the situation defense. Manning. Intercept. Walterscheid, number 23. The ball had a little wobble on it, intended for Wayne Wilson out of the backfield. Not sure whether Manning was hit just as he released it or not. Let's see if we can pick that up. It was not a good pass. Here it is.
A little rush. In comes Walterscheid. The Bears have the ball. Let's watch Manning's interception here. You see 23, Len Walterscheid, faking the blitz. He goes back in here, and it seems that he would be in Manning's view, number 23. Manning's looking downfield and then just comes over into the flat. And Len Walterscheid, number 23, the Bears' 5th back, makes the interception, and Chicago has the ball.
Archie, you'd like to have that one back. He didn't have the zip on it. I thought he might have been hampered by the rush, but as the replays indicated, he was not. Green Bay has gone in front of Detroit 7-6 in the 2nd quarter. Bears came out in a strange formation. 2 men in the slot with Payton on the wing, but they put him back in the eye, and he gets to the 30-yard line before he stopped. Fetterspiel put the hit on him after a gain of about 4. You know, Johnny, that is only his 3rd carry. Quite a contrast from a week ago when he carried it 31 times. The Bears are throwing the ball.
They certainly are. They may start running a little bit more. Did you notice that the Saints went into their flex defense that time? That is designed to stop the runs. We'll see what they do on this play.
So we have 2nd and 6 for the Chicago Bears. They lead it 10-3. Matt Suey in the game and carries it straight ahead for about 2. The rookie from Penn State, number 2 pick.
And Walter Payton has just become the 8th NFL player to rush for over 7,000 yards. And he's only in his 6th year in the NFL. He has 7,003. I think he's also the 8th on the all-time rushing list. So I would say he's done okay as a short time.
Robert Fisher has come in at tight end. Mike Cobb is out. Dave Williams is back in at fullback. shifts up to the wing. They're in the slot right. Phipps intended for Williams, incomplete, flag down. Ray Brown on the coverage. And flags are down in the defensive backfield. Let's see what that brings.
Now you're going to see Walter Payton shift back into his normal halfback spot, and he'll go out. That's a double shift by the Bears. Williams comes up on the wing. You can see Ray Brown here, 27, comes back and then reacts to the play, and he kind of grabbed a hold of Williams as he came out of the backfield, and that may have been in the penalty. He just reached out and grabbed him by the hand, it looked like to me.
Referee Bob McElwee with the news.
Defensive holding, number 27. First down.
Good call, Johnny Morris. First down for the Bears at the 37-yard line.
There it is right there. Such an inconsequential hold, too. It really had no effect on the play. That's why you got to keep your hands to yourself.
8:50 to go first half. Bears lead at 10-3. Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris. The NFL on CBS from Chicago Soldier Field. For Payton, incomplete. And just as well. He was going nowhere and would have taken a loss.
They put the all-out blitz that time. First time, I think, in this game that they put the blitz on Mike Phipps. Fetterspill came, Mathis came, and Phipps thought, well, I better get rid of it because I don't want to eat it.
That ball might have been tipped en route to Payton, making it impossible for him to catch, but he was surrounded by those blitzers and would have been a loss on the play. That's a good time to drop the ball. So it is second down and 10. Gray skies over Chicago. No precipitation as yet. Bears shift into the pro set. Bashmangle is left. Scott is right. Phipps. Scott to midfield. First down. Clarence Chapman, number 24, made the tackle, but the Bears are moving again.
A simple down and in for James Scott, as the Bears sent both backs out, but five linemen blocked 4 defensive rushmen, and Scott came back towards the ball, and that was the key to that reception. Come back and get the ball when you got a lot of traffic around there.
Fisher is out. Cobb is back in at the tight end right. Chicago I formation. Payton. Good defensive play by the blitzing safety, Tommy Myers. Turned him back upfield sooner than he wanted to go, and they closed him down with Reggie Mathis making the tackle after a gain of a yard, maybe 2.
Watch Joe Fetterspill, number 58. He saw Payton go that way, and he came right there. And then they forced him back in with Tommy Myers, and there was Fetterspill and Mathis to make the tackle, but Payton did get back and actually got a yard, didn't he?
Yes, he did. He got about a yard and a half. Ball is at the 49 of New Orleans. Wide to the right goes Bashmangle, 84. Split left to Scott, 89. Phipps, lots of time. Incomplete out of the hands of Dave Williams. And Dave a little eager to start running with the ball. Just didn't hold on.
I'll say one thing, the Bears' pass blocking has been excellent. You know, the Saints have some pretty good defensive linemen. They have, you know, Grooms and Reese, and these guys have not been a factor on the pass rush so far in this game. And if you give Phipps time, you know, you're going to complete passes.
Excellent point. That certainly has been a factor thus far. Grooms had a pair of sacks against San Francisco a week ago. And the Bears have a lot of respect for Grooms, and particularly Don Reese. So far, they've shut them down. Third down. Third and about 8.5. Big play defensively for New Orleans here. Phipps runs out of the pocket. And stretching, trying to get the first down yardage. I don't think he got it. He was pulled down by Ray Brown, Tommy Myers, and I don't know whether he got it. It'll be just short. Phipps, not known as a running quarterback, did not a bad job there, seeing the hole opening up in front of him and trying to get that first. This requires a measure.
Let's watch that New Orleans Saints pass rush. Pretty good blocking by Albrecht and Dennis Lick there. Good coverage downfield, so Phipps takes off, and Myers did a good job of preventing Phipps from getting the first down. It looks to be just a touch short. There it is. Mike says a couple of inches, and they're on the 40-yard line. Are they going to be conservative or aggressive? And it looks like aggressive. They're going to go in and go for it.
Well, that always makes the fans happy. Makes the coach happy if they make it.
That's right. And the fans unhappy if they don't. But I think Bear fans in this situation, after last week, no matter what, they're happy to see the Bears go for it.
There's Neil Armstrong, the head coach on the right. He of the distinguished gray hair. Double tight ends are in, Cobb and Robin Earl, number 81. Bears with Roland Harper, Greg Latta on the injured reserve from their offense. Virgil Livers and rookie Billy Perrin from the defense.
What a time to fake that little plunge and have a back come out.
That'd be fun, Johnny. They're really stacked up both offensively and defensively. Phipps has it. Mike Phipps behind his center Dan Neal and the guards Jackson and Sorey. And the Bears keep their drive alive. We have 6:25 to go here in the first half. Chicago leading at 10-3. Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris at Chicago Soldier Field. They're going to measure again. I've given them the first down, but the Saints are asking for the measurement, and they've got every right to do so. Meanwhile, baseball fans, after 4, Baltimore and Toronto are tied at 1. The Yankees in Boston, a rain delay has prevented that game from getting started yet. So that's a look at the American League pennant race for you. Doesn't tell you a whole lot. But Baltimore and the Blue Jays are 1-1 in the 4th.
I see where the Packers took a 7-6 lead over Detroit.
First down, Bears. Mike Phipps will try to take him on home now. They're in New Orleans territory with a first down. Bashnagle wide right. Scott to the left. And Suey is in with Walter Payton. Payton out of the eye, straight ahead, got 3. Fultz, 72, made the hit on him. The left defensive tackle, a 4-year man from Nebraska. When he was drafted number 2 in 1977, Joe Campbell was the number 1 pick. They were both defensive down linemen, and they were to be the future big, strong men on that front 4. But Campbell has been converted to a linebacker, pared down to 230 pounds, and he is a reserve in that category. But Fultz has gone on to become a starter. Second down and 6. Payton cutting it back behind Dennis Lick and dives forward trying to get to the 30 for the first down marker. Clarence Chapman made the tackle, and I think they stopped him just short.
Great recovery by Walter Payton. As you see, Dave Williams goes into motion, and he follows his motion man around that time. And here's where Payton slips, cuts back against the grain, and boy, he is quick, isn't he? Finally, Derlin Moore gets a hand on him, so does Myers, and bring him down, but not before the Bears got within about a yard or less than a yard of a first down.
Third down at the 31-yard line. There's Walter Payton. Dave Williams ahead of him. Payton stacked up by the middle of that Saints defensive unit. And it would appear he did not get to the first down yardage marker. Clarence Chapman and Joe Campbell, who we were just talking about, in there to make the initial hit.
Well, the Bears are faced with the same decision they had a moment ago, and I think they'll probably go for it again because it's still quite a long field goal. So it goes to show you how you can miss it, though, with a half a yard to go. They didn't get it that time. Will they get it this time?
Matt Suey brought the play in.
They were trying to call a timeout.
Well, it's got to be called by the captain on the field, and it was not done so. Phipps rolling. Phipps running. First down to the 23-yard line in New Orleans. Upset by number 27, Ray Brown, but not before he was there with a first down yardage.
And that has to be a surprise play. Phipps rolling out and running himself behind Reevy Sorey, number 69. Brown tips him up, but he gets the first down, Chicago. Let's watch 27. How does the defensive back react to that kind of a play? Here's number 69, 270 pounds here, a romping, stomping dynamite coming out. Phipps cuts up the field. Brown makes the tackle, but the Bears have a first down.
Ball is at the 23-yard line of the New Orleans Saints. A time-consuming drive here by the Bears. 3:10 remaining first half. Payton bursting off tackle inside the 20 to the 19. Mike Fultz upsetting him with a one-handed tackle. A gain of about 6 for Walter Payton. They spot it just inside the 20. Robert Fisher and Dave Williams come in. Matt Suey, Mike Cobb come out for Chicago. Substitution in the NFL these days is more and more like a Chinese fire drill. I've never known what a Chinese fire drill was.
You know now.
It's an expression that seems apt when you watch the way these coaches substitute, especially defensively. 2nd and 7. Right ahead, Dave Williams. He gets to about the 17-yard line where Reggie Mathis put the hit on him. Got a good block from Noah Jackson.
I know one thing that's going through Dick Nolan's mind right now is that the Bears are controlling the ball a lot. They're keeping it away from his quarterback and from the offense of New Orleans, and that's going to hold the Saints scoring down if the Bears continue to do this. They've eaten up.
There is Coach Dick Nolan of the New Orleans Saints, former Coach of the Year in 1970 when he led the San Francisco 49ers to the playoffs.
And also a great player with the Giants. I remember one time I was playing against him. He rung my bell real good.
I wasn't going to bring that up, but of course you're much younger, both of you. 3rd and 4. Split left is Bashnagle, right is Scott. Big play for both teams here. Phipps sideline, almost picked off by Clarence Chapman. Very similar play as Manning's that was intercepted by Walderscheid. Not so much the similar route, but the same area and that same ever-present danger of taking it all away.
And that was touchdown USA if he hangs onto the ball. He comes right in there and, Scott kind of reached his hand out there and kind of grabbed him, but that was a big break for the Chicago Bears because he was long gone, because the only man who could have stopped him possibly would have been Phipps.
So it is 4th down, and the Saints force the Bears into a field goal try from the 24-yard line. Bob Thomas, he says it's good, and so do the officials. 34-yard field goal for Thomas, his second of the afternoon, and with 1:52 to go first half, the Bears have opened their lead 16-3, make it 13-3.
This is the oil that saves you gas, but it does more. It can take you
from New York to London to Paris
to Sweden
to Tokyo
to Hollywood
and back to New York.
25,000 miles without an oil change. Mobil 1, the oil that saves you gas and more.
You know me. If you're on the move in business, use me, your public phone, as your branch office. And you'll find I'm even easier to use with this, the Bell credit card. It's as fast to use as giving the operator your card number. You even get a monthly record of your calls. Okay. To apply for it, call your Bell business office. Use the Bell credit card. And use me.
Well, it was only a 3-point field goal for Bob Thomas. I gave him 6 there for a moment. Let's see it again. Thomas is the first guy to know it's good. Watch him here. See the hands go up? Is that his holder?
That's Brian Bashnagle. Yeah. He's the official on that play. And here's Bob Thomas, who's become the most accurate field goal kicker in the history of the Chicago Bears.
So Thomas kicking it off. The deep man is Motti. Takes it at the 2 and drops it. Motti hit at the 12 and pulled down at the 14. And the Bears have had excellent kickoff coverage. Motti has not been able to get past the 20 so far. And this time with the little jostling of the ball. He got only to the 13 or 14-yard line before he was swarmed under, went for gains, made the hit.
And look at this one. The Colts lead Pittsburgh 7-6 in the second period.
Baltimore is going to be a very good football team this season if Burt Jones stays healthy. He is back. So we have a timeout on the field with a first down for the Saints. We'll be back at Soldier Field in a moment.
Hold it. Hey, guys. All right, stop fooling around. Calm down. Hold it down. I mean, this is the first Light Beer alumni picture. Okay, a little respect. All right, everybody here?
Everybody who is somebody.
Oh, very clever. All right, smile, will you?
Knock it off, Billy. You need this job.
Are you guys ready? Hold it. Hold it. Stay like that. Hold it. Now. Just be yourselves. Calm down. Calm down. Hold it.
Light beer from Miller. Everything you always wanted in a beer, and less.
I loved this house. It was like an orphan when we adopted it. Now it's adopted us. 11 months ago, my husband died suddenly. It was an awful shock, but it would have been so much worse if we'd had to move. Thank goodness we bought mortgage life insurance from Nationwide when we insured our home.
Mortgage life insurance. It's part of Nationwide's blanket protection for your family.
Nationwide is on your side.
Next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern, Hilmer Kenty defends his WBA lightweight title against ex-champion Ernesto España. You'll say you saw it on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris back here at Soldier Field. There is the picture with 1:45 to go first half. Baltimore went ahead of Pittsburgh on an intercepted pass. Sanders Shiver intercepting Bradshaw, taking it 34 yards for the go-ahead touchdown. The Colts haven't done anything offensively thus far. First down, New Orleans here in Chicago in their own zone, trying to get something here before halftime, but he is sacked. Dan Hampton was the man to tackle him. Hartenstein had the initial pressure, and Alan Page. And Archie Manning slow to get up.
He doesn't get sacked too often. He only got sacked once last week. You're going to see Mike Hartenstein come by James Taylor here, gets the first hit, and then comes Hampton, and they really crunch him right in the middle. Archie Manning is down.
Archie Manning going to the sideline with assistance. Got hit in the face, looks like right on the nose, and I think that was from Alan Page landing on top of him after Hampton that really rocked him in the midsection. Guy Benjamin is in at quarterback, and on the first play, the Bears stack up Chuck Muncie, Hartenstein, and Hampton as the offensive line broke down completely on the play for New Orleans. And it's another loss. Remember, with the sack yardage, they were 2nd and 17 back at their own 8. And now the ball is spotted at the 4-yard line of New Orleans. 1:23 to go. Guy Benjamin, you're saying? Yes. He was acquired in a trade just before the season began from the Miami Dolphins for a draft choice, the former Stanford All-American. In his 3rd year as a pro in the NFL, has not had much playing time with Miami and none thus far with the New Orleans Saints, but pressed into service and now going over to talk things over with Dick Nolan on the sideline with a timeout on the field called by the Bears. 13-3 the score, 1:23 left to play. The Bears, I think, can smell some more points here with 3rd and long, Johnny, and they took the timeout to try and get themselves another shot at the ball.
What do you tell the young quarterback, 3rd and 20 back on your own 4-yard line? They're going to give him a play, but this will also affect the strategy of the game. I'm sure Dick Nolan will send in more plays with Benjamin than he would with Archie Manning.
Another factor here, of course, the reason for Guy Benjamin was the injury to Bobby Scott, who's on injured reserve with a knee injury, the experienced backup to Archie Manning, who's had a fair amount of play over the years, but he's on injured reserve, and thus they made the deal for Guy Benjamin. And some people think that he could turn out to be the quarterback of the future. Manning, of course, at 31's got a lot of time left in this league, but Benjamin, a highly regarded young quarterback. The word on Manning is that he was popped on the nose, and it's sore, it's bleeding, but he plans to come back. So it is 3rd and 20. Benjamin out of the end zone, completes his first pass. On the coverage was Plank. It was caught by the tight end Larry Hardy, and Benjamin showed a little courage in the end zone, threw that strike perfectly.
The Bears did not put a blitz on him because they had 20 yards to go in a first down. So here goes Benjamin back. He's in the end zone. He waits for Hardy to come down and out. But Doug Plank on the coverage. The pass was right on the button, and Plank knocked him out of bounds. But the Saints are still going to have to punt.
Yes, they got about 10 on the play. It is fourth down. Now let's see if the Bears are coming here. Ertzleben in the end zone, and the rush was on. He got it away. Pretty good kick. Taken at the Bears 48 by Walterscheid. Gets into New Orleans territory where Brooks Williams, number 88, made the hit on him. And Walterscheid got to the 44 of New Orleans with 1:08 still on the clock. So Chicago smells another scoring opportunity with first down at the 44-yard line of New Orleans. A 40-yard kick by Ertzleben out of the end zone. Not a bad effort. Buffalo now in front of the Jets, 20-3 in the fourth period. Wide right goes Bashnagel. Wide left goes Scott. Bears lead it by 10, 13-3. Time winding down first half. Phipps has time. It's blocked neatly. Good defensive play by number 72, Mike Fultz, who batted that pass down.
They were trying to hit Payton over the middle as he circled out of the backfield. And here comes Fultz right up the middle. And the pass really didn't have a real high trajectory because he just barely jumped off the ground and knocked it down. You saw Payton was open.
2nd and 10, Chicago. 1:04 on the clock. Philadelphia leading Minnesota 21-7. Eagles a good football team. Draw play, Payton. Payton on his own got away from Grooms and picked up about 6 yards. Well, they're going to give him 5. Clock running, 3rd and 5 in the hurry-up offense. 48 seconds to play. First half. Phipps. Incomplete, and that could have been picked off. Williams, the intended receiver, did not hold on the coverage was Ray Brown, the safety number 27. Nearly had a surprise gift in his hands. That stops the clock.
He was so intent on doing his job, which was making the tackle, that the ball just came off of Williams and hit him right in the... hit Ray Brown. He could have had a touchdown, but that's football. As you see, Bob Parsons coming on the field. The way they rushed that other play, it seems kind of funny. Parsons has been known to throw.
Yeah, I'm wondering about this call a little bit. Here's fourth down. You got to think maybe something's up, but they lead by 10. Maybe they're electing to play it safe. There's nobody back for the Saints, so maybe they don't believe he's going to kick it.
He has an option to kick or throw.
And he's kicked it angled out of bounds at the 12-yard line. And there are 36 seconds on the clock. So New Orleans will get last gasp attempt here before the end of the half. What do you think, Johnny?
Well, I think the Bears rushed their third down play an awful lot. They still had a timeout left, and it seems like they could have taken their time a little bit, but they rushed that third down, and now then punted, and New Orleans has got the ball.
Yeah, I'd have to say that's going to be up for the second guesser's grabs after this football game, but the Bears lead it by 10, and New Orleans with 36 seconds left will try and start here from the 13 with Benjamin continuing quarterback. We do expect, from latest reports, that Manning will be back in the second half. They've got 3 wide receivers all on the left side. This could be your basic Hail Mary here, but they throw it up the middle, and it is incomplete. Intended for the wide receiver Chandler. Coverage on him by Terry Schmidt, and Chandler a little slow to get up, but it looks like he's all right.
As you can see, the wide receivers at the top of your screen, they headed downfield like the old Hail Mary pass, as you said. But Chandler came across the field, and if he could have caught it in stride, he would have had a shot at it, but did not hang on to the ball, and Schmidt gave him a shot, and it looks like he has maybe got hit in the ribs a little bit.
Pretty good coverage nonetheless by Schmidt. I don't think he was going to get too far. He was on the play there. They weren't going to be able to break him, but we have 30 seconds remaining. 10 for the Saints. Motion Wilson. Draw play to Galbraith. Galbraith is hit by by Muckenstern, the other 58 out there. If he was hit by his own man, the whole team would be in trouble. 18 seconds left in this first half.
Larry Hardy was wide open on this play going across the middle, but it was the screen middle which sometimes can really break for you. As Galbraith got the ball, broke one tackle, but there were too many linebackers reacting to the play, and that's the most you get. We have a report that Archie Manning has a broken nose. Here's the fake. Then comes Page, the screen middle, nice catch, one-handed, and then he dekes away from Tom Hicks, but too many linebackers come up as Muckenstern is in on the tackle.
18 seconds remaining, third down, and about 7 to go for the first down.
I'll say one thing, they're not running the clock out and saying, let's wait till the second half and regroup. They're trying to get something.
Detroit ahead of Green Bay now, 13-7. Billy Sims, brilliant rookie, has scored from a yard out. 32 seconds left in the half to send the Lions back in front. They're coming off a big win over Los Angeles a week ago. So Guy Benjamin, at least for the moment, has the destiny of the Saints today in his hands. Will a broken nose keep Archie Manning out of the second half? Who knows? They've got 3 wide receivers lined up on the left side again. Let's see if they all run straight down the field. They brought Chandler into the middle last time. Sideline intended for Chandler, and Schmidt on the coverage again breaks it up. Clock stopped with 11 seconds remaining and fourth down coming up, but the Saints are going to elect to punt from deep in their own zone, playing it safe here as they trail by 10. Ertzleben will come in, standing at his 1-yard line. Danny Walterscheid is the deep man. Walterscheid waiting for it at the 41-yard line. Chicago Bears. Good kick by Ertzleben. Fair catch, Walterscheid at the 41 of the Bears with 4 seconds remaining. Here's Russell Ertzleben. Things going a little better for him today than last week.
Well, I'm sure the Bears are going to... Well, I shouldn't say I'm sure. I figure they're going to run the clock out since they're ahead 13-3 rather than risk some kind of a sack and a fumble or something like that.
Well, they do have 3 wide receivers in.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to go.
Haynes, Scott, and Bashnagel.
They're squadron right or squadron left play, maybe. There they are. Chris Haynes, Brian Bashnagel, and James Scott. And they're going to throw it down and hope for the basket catch. New Orleans has been involved in a few of those games.
Phipps gets a rush and gets away from it.
There it goes.
Deep to the traffic. Who's got it? Incomplete. Nobody got it. Quite a pile-up down there, but nobody came up with the football. But the crowd, I think, appreciated that. Little romance there to end the half. And the Bears, more importantly for their fans, are leaving the field with a 10-point margin. Thomas with a pair of field goals from 37 and 34 yards out. And the big play of the half, Phipps' 56-yard pass play to the rookie tight end Robert Fisher, the 12th round pick from SMU, took it at the sideline and went down the sideline for the score to make it 10-3 at that point. Thomas's second field goal opening up the 10-point margin. The only points for the Saints, Russell Ertzleben's 27-yard field goal back in the first period, and the vaunted New Orleans offense has had trouble against the Bears defense. The Bears have been able to stop them when they've got down into scoring territory, Johnny, and they did give up only the one field goal and took the ball away from them on the other try. Now, I guess the big question is, will Manning return? If you had a busted beak, would you be out there in the second half?
Well, I think in this game of professional football, you can play with a busted beak. They may try and get him some kind of another helmet with maybe another bar across over the nose to give him some protection. But I know in hockey and a lot of other sports, you bust your nose, you just forget about it and go back and play. So in football...
All right, well, there is Archie Manning, and we'll be waiting to see whether he comes back or not at the end of the first half. The Bears 13, the Saints 3, and let's go to Brent Musburger in New York. Johnny, the last time that the Saints played here in 1977, it was a 42-24 game. We talked about their explosive offense, and they've only got 3 points on the board so far, and Manning a question mark as we've been talking about. Give us your prediction for the second half. What do you expect?
Well, I expect Archie Manning to be back. I think that will be a key to the Saints' success for the second half. And of course, as I mentioned before, Dick Nolan has got to be a little bit concerned. The Bears really ate up the ball on him, and even when Manning was in there, except for early in the game, they really didn't have that many sustained drives. So if they keep the ball out of the hands of New Orleans Saints, when you're coming from 10 points behind, you are in trouble. The Saints did stop Walter Payton. He was 9 carries for 30. That's doing a pretty good job. I think any coach would take that.
Well, they had, you mentioned the time consumption by the Bears. They used up more than 8 minutes on that last drive. And as you say, you keep the ball out of the hands of Manning. That's the way to beat the Saints. But don't know whether you can continue to do that. We've got a half of football remaining. And the big question mark continues to be Archie Manning. The Saints, on the other hand, have not been able to get any kind of a pass rush. And that certainly hurt them, too.
Yes, no pass rush, and so that's the situation, and we're going to be back in just a moment with the Bears leading the Saints 13-3. All right.
Seating message was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. The NFL on CBS is sponsored by the Ford Motor Company, bringing you a new generation of small, fuel-efficient cars that arrive this fall. Today's Army, join the people who've joined the Army. And by Prestone 2 Antifreeze. It has a silicone silicate formula to lock out rust and corrosion.
Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris back here. It looks like we're in San Francisco or Glasgow or somewhere. There is a very fine mist, and it's starting to be felt by the audience in attendance here at Soldier Field. It's getting a little damp out here. Here is the big play of the first half. Circled is number 85, the rookie tight end, Robert Fisher. The only big scoring play of the half.
And you notice he got off the line of scrimmage without being jammed by anybody, went down the field and headed for the sidelines. Mike Phipps had plenty of time to pass, hit him on the button, and the key was the high tackle here by Ray Brown. He just shook it loose, and 240 pounds went down the sidelines, and no one could catch him. Tommy Myers tried. Too late. Touchdown.
So the Bears, with a pair of field goals from Bob Thomas, hold a 13-3 lead. Archie Manning is ready to go. He has been on the sideline, indeed is still there on the far side, warming up with Guy Benjamin and Chuck Muncie. And as Johnny Morris thought they probably would do, they have fitted him with a birdcage mask, the kind that extends not just around in a bar from ear to ear, but also from the middle of the forehead down to that bar, and thus giving him protection for what has been reported as a broken nose. So Manning will be back in action, but the Bears will have the ball first as the Saints will kick it off. Russell Ertzleben, the deep man for Chicago, is Dave Williams. The Bears to our right. And it's a squib kickoff, spinning and out of bounds at the 21-yard line. A flag down. Did the ball go out before the Bears touched it? That is the question, and evidently it did.
Which means that the Saints will kick again and move the ball back 5 yards.
Well, Ertzleben, I guess on orders, not kicking that ball deep. Perhaps hoping for something good to happen with a difficult ball to handle.
He is using a 2-inch tee. Last week apparently used a 3-inch, and when you use a 3-inch tee, you can get the ball up higher so you can get down on your coverage, whereas if you use the 2-inch tee, you get more distance. There's the bird cage that Archie Manning will wear. This can be a little bit distracting. I'll go into that in a moment.
All right, here's the second kickoff from Ertzleben. Stepped into this one, and here's a good kick down to the 13-yard line. Williams has running room. Williams over the 40 to the 41. Finally forced out by the kicker, Ertzleben. And so the Bears get good field position to start this second half, and they lead it by 10. A 27-yard return by Dave Williams. And the Bears have Payton and Williams to start off the second half, and there is Archie Manning, who is evidently ready to come in when the Saints get the ball. Baseball, go ahead.
Excuse me, Tim. Sometimes when you haven't been using that kind of a mask and you have one that comes down vertically in front of you, it takes a while to get adjusted to having that iron in front of your face, so he'll have to adjust it.
We'll work in the ball scores as we go along here. First down, Bears at their own 41. Phipps, number 15, the quarterback. Incomplete for Payton, who had 3 tries at getting that ball into the fingers and couldn't squeeze it. 2nd and 10. Fetterspiel, the linebacker, on the coverage, and they have circled Payton out there several times in that pattern. Last week he caught 4 passes against Green Bay.
The Bears over the past couple of years have been reluctant to do that with Walter Payton, because the only time he's ever been hurt is going out for those little passes where he has to stretch up and go for a ball and somebody can get a real good free shot at him. But they're disdaining that fear now and throwing Walter out in the pass patterns.
Well, it's got to be a temptation to try to get the ball to him when he's in full flight. 2nd and 10. Up the middle, intended for the tight end. Fisher, incomplete. Thrown behind him, and he just simply cannot pull it in. So it's 3rd and 10, and the Bears really chucking the ball in this game, although they did go into a ball control offense late in the second quarter, which paid off. It used up more than 8 minutes.
Am I correct that didn't the Bears open the game with 3 straight passes?
Yes,
now
they
they're
did.
opening the second half with probably 3 straight passes. A 3rd and 10 situation. They could run a draw or something like that.
Matt Suey is in, number 26, the Penn State rookie, number 2 pick. Williams is out. Split left is Haynes, number 83. To the right is Bashnagel, number 84. Phipps up the middle again, incomplete. Intercepted, flag down. The pass intended for Suey into the hands of the linebacker Dave Washington, the extra linebacker, number 55, on the deflection. But apparently, interference is called against New Orleans.
Reggie Mathis, I think, hit Matt Suey just a touch too soon, a fraction too soon before the ball was there, and that's what the penalty is going to be, I believe.
Defensive pass interference, number 56, first down.
Mathis, the guilty party indeed. Tough break for the Saints. They had an interception off the play. Here's another look.
There's the contact right there before the ball arrived. Good call.
So first down, Chicago at their own 45. Opening drive, second half. Payton shifts off the wing to the pro set. Play action. Pass is deflected. And it was Don Reese, the oncoming pass rusher, who got the hand on it. Twice now, the Saints have knocked the ball down. So while they haven't gotten to Phipps, they've been able to slow up this Bears pass attack.
And it looked like he was going for Payton again out here in the flat.
Suey comes out. Williams comes in with the play. Ricky Watts has yet to appear in this football game. A bone bruise suffered last week, apparently still bothering him. Bears like to bring the plays into Phipps to the wide receivers. They've been using tight ends and running backs so far today. Payton. Grooms has him. Got maybe a yard before Elo Grooms tied him up. The 6-year man from Tennessee Tech. Interesting stats on the Phipps passing game. He was 5 for 8 in the first quarter, including that touchdown throw. 1 for 9 after that. As the Saints have done a good job. As I say, they haven't had a sack, but they've been making it difficult for him. Well, the wide receiver core of both teams has been hampered somewhat with injuries. Watts for the Bears. Now James Scott has a hamstring strain, and we're waiting to see if he gets back in. The Saints are without Tinker Owens, their reserve wide receiver, who's out with a mild case of pneumonia. That's intended for Cobb, the tight end, overthrown. Ray Brown on the coverage, number 27. And there is Mike Cobb, number 87 from Michigan State. So the Bears will have to punt, and you'd have to say some very good coverage, despite the interference call. Good coverage by New Orleans.
Yes, good coverage downfield, and I noticed the pass rush is starting to get a little bit closer to Mike Phipps. It's almost like a gradual added pressure by the Saints defensive line. Eventually they're going to get in there and get that sack.
Philadelphia's moved in front of Minnesota 35-7.
Right.
Parsons' punt is short. Motti on the run at the 25, gets all the way to the 38 of New Orleans, and it was Matt Suey who pulled him down. But a good return for Rich Motti on the short kick from Parsons into the wind. New Orleans with good field position when we return.
My kind
town, Chicago.
Tuesday night, it's the all-new Linda Carter special Encore. Merle Haggard and Tom Jones join Wonder Woman Linda for a dazzling hour of singing and dancing Tuesday night.
Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris, 13:29 remaining third period. New Orleans first down after a 28-yard punt by Parsons, a 12-yard return by Rich Motti, and Archie Manning is out there with the birdcage face mask to protect the broken nose suffered late in the first half. Harris in motion. Play action, good fake. Manning deep sideline, the coverage is there, almost intercepted by Ellis. Intended for Wes Chandler, number 89. The pass a little underthrown, and the Bears had good deep coverage on the play.
I think it may have been underthrown on purpose. As we watch Manning go back, now he's got a long way to throw, all the way back across the field. He throws it short, hoping that his receiver Chandler will come back into it, because a lot of times the receiver will spot it first, and it was short, and Ellis almost had an interception.
Boston leads the Yankees 1-0 in the fourth inning. That game now underway. Toronto is in front of Baltimore, 2-1 in the top of the eighth inning. The National League pennant race scores in a moment. 2nd and 10, New Orleans. Lots of action along that line, but no offsides yet. Long count by Manning. Manning under pressure and complete to Harris. What a good catch, with tough coverage on him from Allen Ellis again. And Harris got the first down to the Bears 49.
Great. I think he checked off this time. He saw the fake of the blitz, and he ran outside of the rush, and he had to throw off-balance sidearm, and he threw a nice pass to Harris, who took the hit and got the first down. Archie Manning is okay.
National League pennant race scores. Philadelphia in front of St. Louis, 7-0. The Phils in the top of the fourth. The Dodgers lead Cincinnati 3-1 in the bottom of the fourth inning. We'll try to keep you up to date on the ball scores that are important in the pennant races. First down, Saints on the move in Bears territory. Galbraith off tackle left. Behind Zanders and Taylor got a couple. Stacked up by Muckensturm, Alan Page. Call it a gain of 2, 2nd and 8 for the New Orleans Saints. They have only 3 points on the scoreboard. There are Manning's stats that they have produced, but the field goal by Russell Ertzleben. In the fourth quarter, Atlanta leading New England 37-21. Not exactly a defensive struggle there. Manning sideline complete to Harris, who plucks that out of the air with a fingertip grab. Fensick on the coverage. First down, New Orleans to the 35.
Let's take a look at the Bears' defensive alignment on this particular play. You can see Ellis up at the top of your screen. You see Plank going back for the deep coverage, and there is Schmidt on a one-on-one with the short man in front. But the pass was really nicely thrown to the outside, and Ike Harris showed good hands there. That was what you call a hand catch, and those sometimes are the most difficult. He had to reach way out in front of his body.
Manning is 8 for 12 and 101 yards. The Saints are driving again.
Whoa!
Muncie, big hole up the middle, first down. Fensick pulled him down, along with Gary Campbell. And up the middle, not on the draw this time, just a quick opener, but again, Muncie's been successful inside.
And he followed Galbraith right up the middle, and both of them could have run, but Galbraith peeled off and knocked Hicks out of the way. And then, finally, number 59, Gary Campbell, in on the tackle, along with Gary Fensick.
Muncie now has 79 yards rushing for the Saints. First down, New Orleans driving. At the 24 of Chicago. Out of the eye, they give to Galbraith, the lead back. Got only a couple. The Bears shut it down. Page with an ankle tackle. Muckensturm got the rest of them. Pickup of 2, 2nd and 8.
Chicago Bear defense was 6th in the NFL last year, and they have really changed their tune for this game. The Bears blitz all the time, all kinds of safety blitzes, linebackers. They have done very little of that, and that shows the respect they have for Archie Manning. They know that he has the abilities to pick those things up and take advantage of the weaknesses.
2 linebackers out, 2 defensive backs in, 2nd and long. Bears read pass, and they get it. Complete, however, to Galbraith. backfield, short of the first down, but he's moved it to the 15. It'll bring up 3rd and 2. Doug Plank on the tackle against Galbraith.
Boy, he was a workhorse last week, wasn't he?
Sure was.
9 passes, boy. That's a lot of balls in one day.
Carried the ball 9 times for 30 yards, rushing as well. There's that score we gave you moments ago, and that is a scoring festival.
Look at that.
Philadelphia hammering the Vikings. The Bears crowd loves the sound of that score. The Vikings in their Central Division. 3rd and actually about 3. Big play here. Both teams. Saints have been driving. Pitch to Muncie, dropped the ball, and Manning recovers. And it is going to be no gain on the play. You know what interests me about that, Johnny? I'd like your opinion. Appeared to me from our angle, the ball was thrown forward, even though it was a lateral pass, a little shovel pass. It looked like it was thrown forward. Should this be an incomplete pass?
Yes, now look at there. Galbraith would have had big yards.
Watch.
There. Well, it was parallel, but if it had been forward, it would have been a pass.
Looked like it was slightly forward from our angle, but anyway, the officials didn't see it that way. It was a fumble, recovered by Manning. 4th down. Field goal try. Ertzleben, no good. From the 25, it was a 35-yard try, but a flag was down, I believe, on the play. Yes, flag down.
It's against the Saints.
Bears will decline, and Russell Ertzleben has missed from the 35-yard try. And the Saints, after another good drive, come up empty. And that has been the pattern in this football game as the Bears continue to lead 13-3.
John Burns joined the Army in March and kept us waiting until October. Kathy Wolf joined the Army in May and kept us waiting all summer. If you're a high school graduate or about to be, you can join the Army now and take up to 12 months to report for duty. That way, if you qualify, we can guarantee you the skill training that makes you happiest. And we think a happy soldier is worth waiting for. This is the Army, a chance to serve your country as you serve yourself. Call this number toll-free.
Using this surgical fiber optic camera lens, Prestone Labs is going to show you what weak, neglected antifreeze can do to your radiator after only 9,000 miles. Look at these passages. Rust, corrosion. Continued neglect could clog them and overheat this radiator. Before this happens to you, put in Prestone 2. Prestone has a patented silicone silicate formula that forms a tough protective barrier to lock out rust and corrosion. Prestone 2 and Prestone Super Flush. No wonder we're #1.
Next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern, Hilmer Kenty defends his WBA lightweight title against ex-champion Ernesto Espana. You'll say you saw it on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
We're back at Chicago Soldier Field. Here's that field goal try by Ertzleben.
And he is just wide to the right, so problems continue for the young kicker. And I wonder what a guy like Garo Yepremian says right now.
Well, Garo was pretty forthright the other night, saying he is a little unhappy that he got cut by New Orleans. But he got a shot with Tampa Bay. Slot formation left on 1st down following the missed field goal try. The Bears have the ball. Walter Payton has some room. Walter Payton, Clarence Chapman, the only chance to stop him. And he does. Clarence Chapman made an outstanding play where Payton had 6. Dashnagel tried to get in front of Chapman to block him, but Chapman fought him off and got a hand on Payton. Big run by Payton. 61 yards.
Let's watch it off the I formation, up the middle. Good blocking by the Bear interior line there. Everybody blocked well. And then Payton turned it on here. But this is the one area where sometimes somebody can catch him. Once he gets out there, you have to remember that a running back a lot of times expends a lot of energy to get through a hole. And when he's run down, it doesn't mean that he's that much slower than another back. But a good save by Chapman.
1st down Chicago at the 19 of New Orleans. The Saints, who failed on the field goal, get stung on the big play. But they've wrapped up Matsui for a loss. Short of the line of scrimmage, he'll lose about a yard, maybe 2. Fetterspiel and Don Reese with a good defensive work here.
Here's good angle of it. Noah Jackson throws an excellent block. Reeve Sori came across. Michael Cobb sealed out Grooms, and then Payton took off for the races. It appeared that he was going to have a touchdown, but those cornerbacks for New Orleans are very, very fast.
Loss of nearly 3 against Matsui. Second and close to 13. Bashnagel right. Chris Haynes left. Dean Scott has not been back in for the Bears. Phipps. Payton dropped the ball right in his hands coming out of the backfield on the coverage. Reggie Mathis. And a disgusted Walter Payton says, how could I not hold on to that perfect strike?
He is frustrated. He has dropped 2 or 3 passes that he could have caught, and that's not like Walter Payton. When the ball is there, he usually always catches it, and Walter just, he can't believe it.
Mike Phipps has now, believe it or not, thrown 10 incompletions in a row.
No kidding. And
now, you find yourself using the term, he's thrown the incompletions. Really, what's happened on several, they've been dropped. And they, unfortunately, get chalked up against him as incompletions. Third down. Big play, both teams here. Saints have got to stop him to get into this game. Tipped, good defensive play. The third time that the onrushing linemen have been able to get a hand in front of Phipps's passes. I think that was Derlin Moore again. If not Moore, it was Grooms, number 78. But 3 times, the big front 4 of the Saints has done that in critical situations.
That was a very key defensive series for New Orleans. If they could, if Bob Thomas misses this, it'll be very disheartening for the Chicago Bears after Payton breaking open like that. So this is a very key play because it's a 13-3 game. Now a touchdown and a field goal would tie it for New Orleans.
Lots of time left. Thomas from the 27-yard line is wide to the right. So Thomas misses his from 37 yards out. And the New Orleans Saints stop the Bears despite the 61-yard run by Payton after their field goal miss.
Now comes Miller time. The flag is dropped, the race is a memory. And now you're coasting into the best tasting beer you can find. Miller High Life, America's quality beer since 1855.
If you got the time, we got the beer. If you got the time.
No matter where you're going, you can get a low airfare if you know who to call. No matter when you're going, you can get a low airfare if you know who to call. And no matter why you're going, you can get a low airfare if you know who to call.
We're American Airlines.
Well, the New Orleans Saints take over following the missed field goal by Bob Thomas from 37 yards out. The line of scrimmage is at the Saints 21. And they trail by 10 with a long way to go in this football game yet. 7-11 remaining, third period. Play action. Manning under pressure just chucks it away. And I tell you, there's nobody near. There is not an eligible receiver near anybody. The Bears want a grounding call, but they're not getting it. Fensick protesting, Hampton protesting.
Let's take a look. See how the officials did on this play. It was a fake screen right. Looks like he couldn't get it off, and the receiver didn't get out there, and there wasn't anybody there. The Bears have a kind of a legitimate complaint, but it goes for naught. No penalty.
2nd and 10. High formation. Right Chandler, left is Harris. Manning has time. Up the middle, complete. Oh, what a hit. What a collision. Doug Plank and Larry Hardy, the big tight end, the 3-year man from Jackson State. Good pass play from Manning to Hardy, and a pop from Plank.
What touch by Archie Manning. He threw this sidearm, and he hit Hardy right in stride, and it was beautiful. And here comes Doug Plank. You come across the middle against the Bears, this is what's going to happen. You want to see a collision? Boy.
Plank was going for that football. He landed right on the ball.
And here's the sidearm. Watch this. This is beautiful. He just kind of throws it out there, leads him across the field. It was perfect.
We're back live. First down from the 40-yard line of the Saints.
It's going to hurt, and you know, some guys would be a little shy about that. Look, notice how it's swelled up.
Resurging Detroit Lions leading Green Bay 19-7. 2nd and 9 here, Saints. He flips one again to the sideline, and it's incomplete, intended for Chandler. Chandler thought he was interfered with by Ellis. Officials saw it otherwise. Look at this. The Colts in front of Baltimore 14-13 in the 3rd period. Burt Jones has a touchdown pass in that game. Muncie has now carried 13 times for 80 yards, and his counterpart Payton 11 times for 92.
And Archie Manning threw that up again for Chandler, hoping that the offensive receiver, his man, would spot the ball first and then come back and make the catch, and he almost did, but good coverage by Ellis.
Ellis has had an excellent game defensively today for the Chicago Bears. 3rd down. Saints trying to keep it moving. Out of the backfield, Galbraith, and good coverage by Chicago there. No gain at all. Linebacker Jerry Muckensturm, number 58, doing his job, picking up the running back. And the Saints will have to punt.
The Bears really put the rush on Archie Manning that time and made him forced to throw in a hurry, and Chicago gets the ball back.
Erxleben standing at the Saints 30. Walterscheid at the Bears 15. Punt. Good kick. From the 13. Walterscheid, not a bad return, gets out to the 24, and a little puffing around down there. Doug Blank.
And Jim Kovach, I think.
Kovach. Yeah, they exchanged a few words and a couple of shots, but no harm done.
The thing is, he was the second man, and he got caught. If Doug Plank did something to begin with, they didn't detect that, and they detected Kovach, and it's going to be a problem for New Orleans because it's against the Saints.
Well, I didn't see the initial contact, but the penalty is going to go against New Orleans, and it makes that return all the way out to the 39.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 52, first down.
Jim Kovach, the reserve linebacker, as Johnny has spotted him taking a swipe at Blank, but who knows what happened prior to that.
Right, but if he was going to take a swipe, he should wait till the next play or something, not when everybody's watching.
Right, yeah.
There it is.
All right, we're back live. It's first down, Chicago. Matt Suey, screen pass, gets a good block and runs hard, close to the first down. The Penn State star, number 2 pick. Had a little trouble getting going in his other opportunities. A drop pass earlier and a couple of running plays that went nowhere, but this time he makes a good one and picks up about 9.
Matt Suey's father played football with Bears general manager Jim Finks with the Steelers back in the old days, and so there's a little connection there. Suey's a number 2 draft choice for Chicago.
Why didn't Matt Suey go to Arkansas? No, because down there it would have been Suey, right?
You're way ahead of me, Tim.
Razorback, that boy. All right. 2nd and 1. That's Williams struggling for the first down. And it's going to be close. Make it Suey. Suey, not Williams. And Grooms on the stop, but unable to prevent the first down. So on 2 plays, Matt Suey gained 10 yards and a Bears first down. And he comes out. Williams is back in. The ball at midfield. Chris Haynes and Bashnickle are the wide receivers. James Scott has not returned since suffering a hamstring strain. The Bears are already without Ricky Watts, who's bothered with a bruised ankle. Payton goes out as a receiver on this play, and it's incomplete.
How about that? They lined Walter Payton out as a wide receiver and ran an out pattern. It was not on the mark, but the Bears have not done that with Walter this year.
Mike Phipps' numbers are not impressive today. Actually, his yardage isn't bad, but it's a couple of long passes that have given him those numbers. 7 for 23, and as we have commented, he has had several drops, but it's been a little difficult for him. 3 blocked passes counting in there as the Saints deflected away 3 tries. Slot formation.
Oh! There's one of the few blitzes by the New Orleans Saints, and they did it at the right time, didn't they? Look, there's Myers, the safety, in on the tackle behind the line of scrimmage. That's what you call timing your blitz at the right moment. We'll take another look at it and see how they did it. As you're going to see, number 37, Fetterspill was there too. Let's watch Tommy Myers. Okay, here he comes. Time 1, 2, 3. Boom, the ball is snapped. Couldn't have been timed better. Walter Payton had no chance. Good defense.
Loss of 2 on the play. 3rd and 12. Saints toughening up here in this second half. 2:38 to go, third period. The rush is on. Phipps got away. Flag down. He's finally pulled down by Elo Grooms. And they got him just over the line of scrimmage, but the penalty will be against the Chicago Bears, as the preliminary signal would indicate.
Probably a holding call. Now the Saints will have the choice of having it be 4th down, forcing the Bears to punt, which they're going to take.
Number 64 on the offense. Decline. 4th down.
Number 64 is Ted Albrecht. Left tackle. We'll see the play.
There's 65. That's Noah Jackson. 64 is right there. You see 64 as he takes a hold on Don Reese, grabs him by the side of the arm. I'd say that's a pretty good call, wouldn't you?
Would indeed.
I think it was a correct call as Phipps takes off on the run, does not get the first down. Of course, the Saints refuse the penalty, and Chicago will apparently punt.
Johnny, Baltimore now leads Pittsburgh 17-13 as Steve Mickemeyer field goal, 6:34 to go, 3rd period. Long way to go on that one, of course, with all of that offense that Pittsburgh can throw at you, but the Colts doing the job so far. Parsons at his own 35. Rich Motti is the deep man. Short punt again by Parsons. Fair catch. New Orleans will start from their 24-yard line. So the Saints down by 10 points. 2:19 to go, 3rd period. Trying to get something going when we return to Chicago's Soldier Field.
If you give up your luxury car for the gasoline shortage, are you gonna miss all that plush carpeting? Are you gonna miss those big, comfortably upholstered seats? Are you gonna miss that power steering or those little creature comforts like a digital clock or a coin box? Not if you buy our Honda Accord LX. It's got all those things and more. Why not give up your luxury car for a luxury car?
Honda, we make it simple.
Television should be more than an electronic tranquilizer. At its best as an art form, television should touch you, involve you, move you. The arts of television, experience it at its best on the one television that is itself a work of art. The Emmy Award-winning Sony Trinitron. Sony, the one and only.
Monday night, don't miss Chevy Chase, Goldie Hawn, and Dudley Moore in an uproarious comedy, Foul Play. Monday night at 8, 7 Central and Mountain, followed by a special showing of MASH.
First down, New Orleans, from their own 23-yard line. At that kind of a time of game that you feel like the team better get it going here, or their psychological morale is not going to be the best if they cannot get themselves into the game. This is an important drive. The rush is on Manning, and Hampton has him down to the 5-yard line. So the Bears fired up defensively, dropped Archie Manning all the way back to the 5, and you talk about trying to get something going. That doesn't help the cause much.
I think they might have been trying to set up a short screen. They let the lineman through, and here comes Hampton, and Manning this time could not get out of it as Hampton went by Stan Brock. You see Brock here, 67, but it looked like they might have been trying to set up a screen on that play. If not, it was a real terrible block.
Loss of 18 yards, Johnny. And really a difficult situation for New Orleans now. Instead of having only reasonable field position to start with, they've got terrible field position. From the end zone, sack. And a safety, Alan Page, blowing through the right side. And this fired-up Bears defense has just picked up 2 points for the offense.
Alan Page, number 82. Watch him right there in the middle of that line. He comes across, beats Emmanuel Sanders, number 79, and is there as Manning had no chance. What great speed he has for a defensive lineman. You're going to take another look at it. This side is Jim Osborne. Over on the other side was where Page got through for the critical 2 points. Now the Saints must score 2 touchdowns if they're going to win this game. Alan Page, the only man, I believe, in the NFL who has ever completed a marathon, 26 miles.
He is a remarkable person.
He runs.
Page got 2 sacks last week against Green Bay. Well, now following that safety, the New Orleans Saints will have the free kick from their 20-yard line, so the Bears are going to get the ball back, and of course that's reasonable if you think it through, because they have made a defensive play that got them the 2 points, but they also deserve to get the ball, and so that's what's the case here with Erxleben. Will punt it from his own 20-yard line.
He does not have to punt it, but most teams will choose to punt because they can get the ball high and get down on the coverage.
So Erxleben, who does both, will make the punt. Waldershot is the deep man standing at the 19 of the Chicago Bears. Ulmer and Schmidt, the up men. High punt. Boy, I mean, he really elevated that one. Taken by Waldershot at the 19. Got to the 32-yard line. A flag down on the play. Excellent punt by Erxleben. He had the wind behind him, and he used it all. That ball came up right into the lights atop the Roman arches across the field from us. Erxleben has hit that four-sided gondola in the Superdome at New Orleans. He hits that fairly regularly. He can really get it up there.
Well, there's going to be a penalty against Chicago. There was something going on between Otis Wilson and Rich Mowdy, and it's against the Bears. So the Saints, of course, they did give up the 2 points, but they were very lucky to get the Chicago Bears back to their 19.5-yard line, having to punt on the 20.
Holding, number 55, on the receiving team. First down.
Holding on the return against the Bears. And that's the third time in his career that Alan Page has scored a safety for his team. Look at that. Eagles over Minnesota 42-7.
Eagles are tough.
That's a final. And Detroit leading Green Bay 22-7 late in the third quarter of that game. So the Packers tormented the Bears a week ago, taking their lumps today. From the Lions. Slot formation right on first down, Chicago. Payton dancing, skipping, and cutting inside for a gain of 8. Derlin Moore and Fetterspiel made the tackle on him. Updating the baseball scores in the American League pennant race. The Yankees in front of Boston 2-1 top of the 5th. Baltimore and the Blue Jays are tied 2-2 in the top of the 9th.
How are the Cubs and White Sox doing?
I don't know, Johnny. I suppose some of the people looking in around here would be interested in that, but if there's anybody in New Orleans that cares, I'd be mighty surprised. It is 2nd and 3 for the Chicago Bears. Slot formation left. Ooh. And it is Matt Suhey not getting a whole lot of running room as Mike Fultz, number 72, pulled him down. Be very little, if any, gain on the play.
We're almost to the end of the third quarter. 39 seconds remaining as the Bears have this third down situation. Big play. The Saints need to get the ball now.
15-3, Bear lead. A couple of touchdowns by the Saints could wipe that out, but 3 points is not Saints-like production.
I think the 30-second clock is out again.
Slot left again with Bashnagel in the slot. Chris Haynes wide left. They're going to run it. Dave Williams close to the first down, but I believe the Saints stopped him.
It's going to be very close, Tim, but I think he's short just a few inches.
Official timeout for the measurement. Ray Brown was the man on the hit. So we'll take a measurement before this quarter comes to a close. And it would appear from the marking that that he is short. And they need about a foot to go.
There's Neil Armstrong, and the fans are saying go for it, but I don't think he will this time, do you?
No, not at your own 30, and you're leading 15-3. That's the end of the third quarter, and there's the score.
When you can borrow money for the things you need, when you need them.
That's Transamerica Financial.
That's Transamerica. When you go to the movies, and you're glad you did.
It's United Artists.
That's Transamerica. When your property is well insured and your independent agent is understanding.
That's Transamerica Insurance.
The many companies in the Transamerica family all stand for just one thing. First-rate service at a fair price. That's Transamerica.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is kind of special. The beer.
Building inspector.
Hey, what are you guys doing here?
I didn't believe you two could build your own house.
Yeah, well, don't look. It's not finished.
Well, I guess we'll just take our low and brow and go home.
Well, maybe one quick look around.
When you want the taste of a truly great American beer, tonight, let it be low and brow.
What are you going to do when you finish this place?
Just what I'm doing right now.
Big upset. Atlanta and New England, Johnny. Now final. Atlanta 37 of the Patriots 21.
You know, the NFC is off to a fast start against the AFC. NFC won both games last week, and here's another NFC team beating the AFC.
The Bears will punt on 4th and a foot from their own 30. Parsons hits it from his 20. Short punt. Motti on the run. Flag is down. Motti dives over the 40 to the 42-yard line of New Orleans. And Otis Wilson, the rookie linebacker, made the hit. Might have had somebody downfield early. Might have had somebody blocking illegally. Illegal use of the hands is the preliminary signal against the receiving team, the Bears.
Those are key penalties, Tim. That's instead of being on the 42-yard line, you're back a ways from the infraction and the penalty. Your field position goes right out the window.
Interesting time of possession here that tells you something about who's been productive. New Orleans has had the ball 22 minutes and 48 seconds. The Bears have had it 22 minutes and 12 seconds,
Holding
almost dead even.
Number 23 on the receiving team, post-possession foul. First down.
All right. I said the receiving team, the Bears. I meant the Saints, of course, and it was charged against James Marshall of the Saints for holding after the possession was obtained by New Orleans. So it's marked off from the point where the receiver got the punt back to. And they'll start after this timeout from their own 23. We'll return after this word from your local station.
Tuesday, the Dukes of Hazzard star in a special 2-hour TV movie presentation. Carnival of Thrills. The action never quits. Be there Tuesday at 8/7 Central and Mount.
Well, the Chicago Honey Bears, and they're a happy group of young ladies at this point with their team in front of the home opener of the season. And it is New Orleans ball, trying to put some frowns on the faces of the Honey Bears here, but they trail 15-3. Archie Manning at quarterback. Play action. Up the middle, incomplete, intended for the tight end, Larry Hardy. And that ball was underthrown, or he wasn't happy with the route. One or the other. Dan Hampton had the heat on him from the left defensive end position, number 99. 2nd and 10.
Manning is continuing his tendency to throw on first down. And as you think you mentioned earlier in the game, he threw 13 times on first down, and it was pretty successful. But his completion percentage is starting to go down as the Bears are covering much better.
Bears send in a 5th down lineman, Al Harris, a new linebacker, and another defensive back. And what they see is the passing situation for New Orleans now. 2nd and 10. Sack time. Mike Hartenstein, number 73. And Archie Manning dropped at the 15-yard line. So the pass rush paid off for the Bears.
That's the 4th sack for Chicago. And the Saints are not known for being sacked. He only got sacked one time, as you see Hartenstein come inside on a trick. And there is Manning trying to get out of the rush, and Hartenstein slowed him up just enough, and down he went as the Bears piled on and got the sack. And that's been a problem for New Orleans.
Last year, they gave up only 17 sacks all season. They were second in the league with that. And today, the Bears are beating on them like drums so far. We are just into the 4th quarter at Soldier Field, 3rd and long. Manning up out of the pocket and pulled from behind. Alan Page, who had a sack for a safety just moments ago, comes up with another sack. And the crowd really enjoying the defensive work. The 5th sack of the day.
A great play by Alan Page because he was blocked beyond the quarterback, kept his hustle, came back from the backside, and just reached over and prevented Manning from either running or throwing the ball. Alan Page.
This is an inspired Bears defense today. They have been solid all day long. Erxleben from the 1-yard line. Fair catch signaled by Walter Scheid at the New Orleans 42. So the Bears again in good field position. The Bears have allowed a couple of long drives by the Saints, but they have stopped them and given them only one field goal thus far. 13:52 to go, 4th quarter.
Home energy bills have become outrageous, and that's the good news. The bad news, they're expected to double again in the next 10 years. But you can fight back. Get up in your attic and add another layer of Owens Corning fiberglass insulation on top of the insulation you already have. Put your house in the pink. See your dealer or contractor for more Owens Corning fiberglass insulation now.
Announcing the Zenith Bond Bonanza. Over $1 million worth of U.S. savings bonds free with 38 different Zenith System 3 TV sets and all Zenith video recorders. You get a $50 or a $75 bond when you buy a specified Zenith System 3 TV and a $100 bond with any Zenith video recorder. So get your dealer's best price plus a bond in the Zenith Bond Bonanza.
Next Saturday at 3:30 Eastern, Hilmer Kenty defends his WBA lightweight title against ex-champion Ernesto España. You'll say you saw it on the CBS Sports Spectacular.
Here's a look at that play by Alan Page. Notice number 82 at the bottom of your screen. He's being blocked by James Taylor, 71. He's blocked behind the quarterback. It keeps hustling, reaches out, and grabs Archie Manning. Great hustle and determination by Alan Page.
First down for the Bears from the Saints 42 following the punt. Walter Payton has running room and a first down inside the 30. And he has gone over the 100-yard mark in rushing. The 18th time he's done that in his young NFL career. And the Bears are threatening again. Myers and Brown, the safeties, combining on the tackle. They spot it right at the 30-yard line. Suey comes in. Williams comes out. Suey, number 26. Bears have been going with Bashnagel and Haynes as their wide receivers. Scott and Watts both bothered with injuries. Slot formation left. Loose ball. Saints appear to have it. Ray Brown. And the Bears turn it over with a tackle from Fettersfield jarring the ball loose. Ray Brown comes up with it.
Joe Fettersfield, number 58, who has to fill the holes a lot of times, and he did it right there as he strips the ball loose, and Ray Brown makes the reception. Joe Fettersfield playing his 91st consecutive game for the Saints. New Orleans has the ball.
We asked Ben to compare the inexpensive Bic shaver to the expensive track tube.
No difference.
No difference. No difference. No
no difference. There's no difference.
The results of the Bic Barber test surprised a lot of people. 58% found Bic shape equal to or better than Track 2's. Why pay more? Most men we tested felt
no difference.
And the price?
Big difference.
The incredible Bic, still under a quarter.
This is a can of Mobil 1. What's in it for you?
Gas.
Lots of gas. Lots and lots of gas. If you drive 25,000 miles a year and get about 15 miles per gallon, you can save up to 80 gallons of gas a year by changing to Mobil 1. The oil that saves you gas and more.
Next Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern, 1979 Derby and Preakness winner Spectacular Bid is slated to lead the pack of the 1980 Woodward Stakes. You'll say you saw
Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris at Soldier Field in Chicago. The first turnover by the Bears today, a fumble by Matt Suey, recovered by Ray Brown, has given the Saints first down at their own 27. Galbraith. Hampton has him, number 99, for a loss at the 25, a loss of 2.5 on the play. You know, Johnny, we were just checking here. The Bears, having turned it over only once, have had only one penalty today. And Neil Armstrong told me on Thursday, said, you know, I didn't want to stress too much before the first game last week about penalties because we had talked about it so much in the preseason. Don't want the team to be, you know, under-aggressive. And we took a lot of penalties against Green Bay, and they hurt us. So this week we've had to remind them, hey, be careful. Well, they've had only one penalty today.
Well, the Saints have had 7, so that's got to be a difference in this game.
Pittsburgh has gone in front of Baltimore 20-17. The second and 13, Manning to throw. Complete to the tight end, but excellent coverage on the play. Hardy made the catch. Muckenstern, the linebacker, made the tackle. And he got maybe 2. In that Detroit-Green Bay game, Johnny, 29-7, the Lions lead the Packers. 5 field goals by rookie kicker Eddie Murray for the Lions. 2 touchdowns by rookie Billy Sims.
And the Lions have that easy schedule because of their finish last year, so they're going to be a factor in the NFC. They'll be 2-0 in the NFC Central Division, I should say.
Third down, about 10.5 to go for the Saints as things are getting a little desperate for them now. They've got to move the ball. Manning, lots of time. Complete to Ike Harris. He has a first down at the 45-yard line of New Orleans. Lenny Waltershire, number 23, made the stop. He was open. Washington leads the Giants 6-0 in the first quarter.
And therein lies the difference if you give Manning some time. Let's watch the Bear defensive coverage. As you see double coverage on this outside receiver, it was a zone to both outside receivers with the tight end going straight down the field. Then they had to drop off and catch Ike Harris coming across the field.
First down, New Orleans. We're back live in the I formation. Play action, quick flare out the right side, the flanker screen to Chandler. And Chandler picks up about 7, maybe 8 on the play. Jim Osborne, the left tackle, showed his mobility. He read that play, got over there in a hurry, and made the first hit.
See, Chandler headed for the inside to come around those linemen coming out to peel around them. He knows where to go, get by those big guys and get down the field. And there's Jim Osborne who got over and got in on the play. Jim Osborne and Alan Page, the key to the middle of that Bear defensive line.
Manning is 14 for 21, 157 yards, but only 3 points. Little draw play. Galbraith. Bears had already stripped through the offensive line of the Saints. Alan Page was waiting for him.
This is a play that kind of worked a little bit before, earlier in the game, but not this time. They say, I got you.
Loss of a yard brings up third, about 4.5. The ball right at midfield. Bears send in a bunch of troops here for the passing situation. Ulmer is in as an extra defensive back. Wilson, the speedy rookie linebacker, is in. Motion Harris. Rolling is Manning. Just got it away. Harris is open. Ellis comes from nowhere to knock it loose. Allen Ellis had Harris a good 2 strides behind him. Ball hung up there a little bit. Ellis made a good defensive play, and Osborne had the rush on Manning.
I think you mentioned the key, Tim. The ball hung up there just a little bit too long, but it was because of the pressure that was on Archie Manning on the rollout. Here comes 68, Jim Osborne bearing down. Manning had to get rid of it. Under the circumstances, a good pass. It just hung up there just a little too long.
Ertzleben punting, a short punt. He just missed it. Gets a New Orleans bounce, however, and is going to turn out pretty well. Goes all the way to the 18-yard line of the Bears. So that one worked out well for young Mr. Ertzleben. Time out on the field here with 9:08 to go regulation time. The Bears holding a 15-3 lead over New Orleans.
When it comes to fighting rust, there are 2 types of people.
I want to do it fast. I want to make it last.
For both, there's Rust-Oleum. Rust-Oleum's original fish oil primer goes right through rust to bare metal, so you get long-lasting protection.
It lasts.
And it comes in handy sprays, so it's easy to apply.
It's fast.
Not to mention 40 beautiful colors.
If you're going to do it fast, you might as well make it last. Good point.
You know, Atlantic Richfield says if everyone picked at least one thing to save energy and stuck to it, it would really put a big dent in the amount of energy we use. Well, on this job, I've got my choice. Hey, what are you doing? Sorry, just doing my thing.
My wife's picked 2 things. Reducing our heating bills and this.
Hurry up, Jerry. You know Mama doesn't like it when we're late.
Sorry, babe. Just doing my thing.
Atlantic Richfield says let's all conserve energy. It's the thing to do.
Tim Ryan and Johnny Morris here at Soldier Field. The NFL on CBS has Chicago in front of New Orleans 15-3. Bears have the ball following the New Orleans punt. First down at their own 18-yard line. Slot formation left in the eye. Williams and Payton, the running backs. Walter Payton with a block and a flag. Battles his way over the 20 to the 22. Myers 37 and Derlin Moore 74 combining to pull him down. And while we await the infraction, Denver in front of Dallas 10-0 in the second period. Signaled against Chicago. San Diego leading, no, it's now tied, pardon me. Oakland and San Diego have traded field goals in the first period. They are 3-3.
Well, the Chicago Bears will be operating from pretty bad field position, which hasn't happened to them too much so far today. They've always had good field position.
Holding number 87 on the offense. First down.
Well, the tight end Mike Cobb is called for holding. You got the word from referee Bob McElwee. Let's see if we can see it in this replay. There he is, right on this right end.
Right there. You see him right at the bottom of your screen.
Robin Earl has come in at tight end, slot right. Payton straight ahead, and the Saints close that down in a hurry. Pressure from Reese, tackle from Mike Fultz. And not much gain on the play on 1st and 20. It'll bring up 2nd and about 19.
And time is becoming a factor now, Tim. 8:45 left in this game.
Well, here's one we missed earlier. Seattle leading Kansas City 17-16 in the 4th period. About the same amount of time remaining there as in this game. Wide left goes Baschnagel. Wide right comes Chris Haynes. Williams has Jackson in front of him, but good defensive work. Reggie Mathis and Elo Grooms. Mathis came over there and stripped Noah Jackson and gave Grooms the shot at Dave Williams. No gain, in fact, probably a loss of, yes indeed, a loss of a couple on the play.
I think one of the most incongruous statistics I've ever seen in my life is that the Saints last year had 46 sacks, 26 interceptions, and were 22nd in total defense in the league. How do you figure that one out?
Sacks, and what was the other number?
They had 26 interceptions.
All right, so when you run against him, you do a little better, I guess. At least last year. Dick Nolan, of course, one of the defensive geniuses in the NFL. He's working with this defense. He expects it will be better. He's letting them grow together. Phipps into the end zone. Upfield for Haynes, incomplete. Double coverage, Chapman and Marshall, the extra defensive back in number 23 in the passing situation. And Chicago will have to punt. So New Orleans will have fairly good field position here. And they've just simply got to do something on the next drive, or they're going home with their second defeat. 7:23 regulation time remaining. Parsons in the end zone. Monty at the New Orleans 38-yard line awaiting the punt.
He's really down the field, isn't he?
Now Parsons has the win, gets a pretty good kick away, but Monty comes up to get it at the 44. Now Monty with a burst of speed gets down to the Bears 42-yard line, forced out by Robin Earl at that point. And a good effort by Monty has the Saints in good field position on a 48-yard punt from Parsons. So this is going to be it for New Orleans here. They've got to do it. Let's see if they can when we come back.
Here's to good friends. Tonight is
Phil,
special.
I thought you were taking us to dinner.
I am. Okay, where is it? You're standing on it. What?
Hey, a clam bake.
I suppose you got Lowenbrow, too.
Yep.
You want the taste of a truly great American beer. Tonight, let it be Lowenbrow.
Bill, that was fantastic.
Hey, I only take my friends to the best places.
A super automotive value from Sears. Now get the Sears Heavy Duty 36 shock and save 40%. Smooth out some of the jolts, jars, and jerks with Sears best-selling shock absorber, only $5.88 each.
No matter what you spend on tires, you know you can count on Sears. Sears Guardsman Bias Ply, our most economical tire, as low as $22.88.
At the home of the diehard.
Well, there's a lineup on CBS tonight following football. It starts off with that outstanding program, 60 Minutes, and there's lots of entertainment to follow. Tonight on CBS. First down, New Orleans from the 42 of the Bears. And Johnny, what do you think here? I heard you speculating while we were away that maybe Chandler, the big play guy, might be the target.
Well, there's no question. They got to put the ball up. Let's see what happens.
Chandler in motion, and they give it to him. He's going to throw. Chandler wants to throw, but they're going to sack him instead. The Bears had good coverage downfield. Hardy was downfield with Ike Harris in the pass pattern. Tricky play, and it backfired.
It is kind of a wild play as they give it to Chandler on the fake end around and then the pass. However, when you're down 15-3, a team has a tendency to play loose, and it's going to be harder to find a guy who's going to surprise him and get deep. And as you see, there's Bears all over the place. Chandler did make a good decision of not trying to cover it, to throw it, because Gary Fensick had Hardy covered downfield.
Yep, they had Harris and Hardy well covered downfield. It was an intelligent play from Chandler. Second and about 22. Now Manning's got to make that up in a hurry. Harris has it and has the first down. Archie Manning comes right back. There's a flag down, however, in the New Orleans backfield. And it is against the Saints holding. He had the first down yardage back to the Bears 30. Tough break for New Orleans there.
Archie's a little bit upset, and you can't blame him. He lofted a perfect pass right in the breadbasket unstride, and it's going to go all for naught. Instead of having good field position, they're going to be way back. Let's see if we can find out who the villain was for the Saints, the holder. It's kind of, looked like 82. Page was being held, and that was probably Xander's blocking.
We'll get it from the referee McElwee. That is the 8th penalty against New Orleans. It certainly has been a factor in this game.
Holding number 67 on the offense. Second down.
The rookie Stan Brock from Colorado, their number 1 pick. They're not going to be too hot at him because he has been a revelation for them. Walking in as a starter, trade of Conrad Dober, Woods moving over from tackle to guard, and Brock stepping right in.
They really haven't thrown to the backs that much lately, especially in the second half.
It is second and darn long. Manning sideline for Harris. He had a big rush and unloaded much earlier than he wanted to. He was hit by Hicks, by Page, by Osborne after the ball was thrown, and he just did not get the pass off he wanted to. Denver, Johnny, in front of Dallas, 17-0 in the second period. 2 touchdowns by Robinson. The Honey Bears are getting the strategy out there to the Bears defense.
They're not rooting for the Dallas defense, are they?
Waldershot has come in for a plank. Third and still very long.
It's got to be some kind of crossing pattern. Bring somebody way across.
Manning forced out of the pocket, looking downfield. He's going to run it. And he's well short as he's hit at the 48-yard line. Picked up some yards, but way short, at least 16 or 17 yards short of the first down. So the Saints have been stopped again, and the Bears defense continues to sparkle here this afternoon. The Giants have scored a 1-yard run by Mike Hogan, their fullback, and they lead Washington 7-6. The Redskins had missed their point after on their scoring play. 4th down, Ertzleben. High punt, short. Walderscheid lets it bounce, signaling fair catch. The ball bounces freely and is down at the 26-yard line by Schwartz of the Saints, and so the Bears will have a fairly good starting point. In fact, they've moved it up to the 31 on the down ball.
This is where a defensive coach gets on the sidelines with his defensive team and says, okay, let's go get them. Start stripping the ball. Try and reach for the ball. If you miss a tackle, okay, we've got to get the ball because they have to score 2 touchdowns. There's 5:18 left. And you have to kind of sometimes not worry about getting your arms around the ball carrier, but more or less go for the ball.
Haynes and Bashnagel out to the left. Bashnagel in the slot. Williams and Payton, the Chicago running backs. Walter Payton has a hole.
Oh!
Walter Payton. Way in pursuit. Payton drags them into the end zone. Touchdown. Walter Payton dragged Ricky Ray the last 3 yards and literally pulled him just inside the pylon for the score. 69 yards, and that's all she wrote for the Saints today.
They didn't catch him that time as he busted through the hole from the I formation. Just think, 6 yards back of the line of scrimmage. Let's watch the right side of the Bear line. The tight end is on that side. Just blocked him up. Great block by Reeve Sorey. And Payton turns it on. And here comes the speedster, Ricky Ray. Instead of going for the diving tackle, he tries to reach him up high, gets the straight arm, and then Payton gives him a ride. Says, you want to come with me? Come right on. And it's a touchdown, Chicago Bears.
Now Thomas with a point after. And the Chicago Bears with 2 big plays for both their touchdowns. Now lead at 22-3 with 5:06 to go. And Walter Payton, you can expect he'll make something big happen, and he did. Ricky Ray is the speedster, the fastest man on the New Orleans team. And he came a long way to catch up with Payton, and it was kind of unfortunate that having made that effort, he still couldn't prevent the touchdown, but Walter showed his muscle and his speed. There was a flag on the point after play, evidently against New Orleans in decline.
I don't know if you noticed, Tim, but when Walter got into the end zone and got up, he wanted to spike the ball. He started to spike it, and then he realized that he always gives it to the linemen if they want to spike it. So he just handed it off. He did not spike it. There's James Scott. There's Walter. And James Scott, who's happy also. Payton is now 16 carries for 179 yards rushing. Sweetness is back.
Reeve Sorey, the man that you indicated, made that big hole for him, so he's getting his thanks from Walter right there. Well, the penalty was assessed against New Orleans. So Thomas will kick it off from the Bears 40 as we just go back and see that play by Payton thinking about the spike and says, whoops. Well, Thomas kicks that one through the end zone, having kicked it from the Bears 40 with the wind behind him. And so the Saints will start with a touchback from their 20.
Can we see that again? I'd love to see that almost spike, because he really had the old premonition, and he was really going to lay it to the turf.
69-yard touchdown run by Walter Payton.
And he carries the ball over 300 times per season. He's averaging 330 carries per year.
All right, first down for New Orleans. Now in desperate straits, and I would think that they are not likely to pull this out. Manning will be trying for sure. A diving catch. Did he get it? Bears say it hit the ground. Ike Harris. And the reception is going to be allowed and called complete and a first down to the 31-yard line.
Okay, let's take a look at that spike once again. As he goes into the end zone, and he did score the touchdown. He gets up, and his emotion almost got him, but he remembered, maintain your cool, Walter. He did.
Okay, we're back live, and the Saints with a first down pass to Harris. Out of their own 30. Blitz. Manning. Galbraith could not hold on. Coverage on it by the linebacker Campbell. Muckenstern make it 58, not 59. And Galbraith unable to one-hand it.
Muckenstern is playing with 7 stitches over his eye. He got cuffed pretty good in the Green Bay Packer game, but this Bear defense now has played 2 consecutive strong games, and the Bears apparently are going to be 1-1. It's going to be tough for the Saints to climb out of the hole. They're going to be 0-2, and that's not the way you start a optimistic season.
Manning statistically having a good afternoon. 15 for 25 and 168 yards. And only 3 points on the scoreboard. Second down. Deep sideline, Harris open, incomplete. Harris might have been a little late making the turn. Ellis had the coverage on him. Manning, certainly conscious of the Bear rush now, might have thrown it a little prematurely. Hard to say.
The key to this football game has been the ability of the 4 main rushers to put enough pressure on Manning that they didn't blitz. So they've got 7 guys down the field on coverage, and that's been the key to this game. Page, Osborne, Hampton, and Hartenstein have been able to put the pressure on Manning, especially in the second half. And when you can do that with 4 rushmen, you got a game in the bag.
Joe Theismann has run 37 yards for a Washington touchdown. They lead the Giants 13-7. 11:55 remaining second period. Jim Osborne requiring some assistance off the field. We have an injury timeout at the moment. And Osborne has been a force today, and he is apparently all right. One of the underrated tackles in the entire National Football League. That'll bring in Ron Rideouts, number 76, to fill in for him. .69 yards for Walter Payton, Johnny. They tell us his longest touchdown run in his NFL career.
And he can thank the block of number 69, Ruby Sawyer.
Third down. Manning under heat again. Intercepted by Otis Wilson. Intended for Ike Harris. And the speedy rookie linebacker picks off the pass, and the Bears have the ball once more, and once again in New Orleans territory. The rookie from Louisville, their number 1 pick from Brooklyn, New York.
And he'll remember that one a long time, the first in his professional career. And once again, it was Alan Page who forced the interception because Manning went back. Page went inside, got through there. He is so quick. He forced Manning to roll out, and then he had to kind of throw it up for grabs. He didn't want to be sacked, a third down, and he just hoped for the best as he got some additional pressure from Hartenstein. And here comes Otis Wilson, who almost stole it from his own teammate. In fact, he did steal it. He's got an interception. He'll remember it for a long time. It's been a tough day for Archie.
New Orleans has converted only 2 of 13 third down situations. Bears haven't been much better in that category, but they lead the game comfortably. Payton dancing inside the linebacker Fetterspiel, who had penetrated, picks up 4, maybe 5. Tommy Myers and Elo Grooms combined to stop him. San Francisco leading The St. Louis Cardinals 7-0. They're in the second period at San Francisco. Steve DeBerg, Paul Hofer with a touchdown. Gain of 3 on that last play to make it 2nd and 7 for the Bears. Suey is in. Williams is out. Haynes goes wide left. Bashnagel into the slot left. Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris as time is winding down here. The Bears en route to their first victory against one defeat. Matt Suey over the 40-yard line of the 38 of New Orleans.
I'm surprised the Bears still have Walter in there now with just 3 minutes left in the game. Maybe they want him to get over that 200-yard mark, but I think the highest priority would be keep Walter healthy for next week.
Robin Earl comes in at tight end for Mike Cobb. Passing situation here for the Bears. Final score from Green Bay. The Lions handed the hats to the Green Bay Packers 29-7. That is a final. Green Bay is 1-1. The Lions are 2-0. Pitch out to Payton. Payton does not get to the first down marker. They string him out well over there. Myers forcing from the safety spot, number 37. And at the bottom of that stack, getting help back up, was Reese, number 60, as Payton gave him a hand up. 4th down and 2.
The durability of Walter Payton stands out as each year goes by. He started every game. He's hardly missed any time. And we are going to be back in just a moment with the Bears leading the Saints 22-3.
Chicago is my kind of...
Radio Shack announces its second major computer breakthrough in 3 years. First, the TRS-80 Model 1 personal computer under $500. Now, the new TRS-80 Model 2 computer, a powerful small business system that smashes the $10,000 barrier. Base priced under $3,500. Both offer disk storage, printers, and software. The new TRS-80 Model 2 business computer, built in Texas and ready for you to buy or lease at Radio Shack, the biggest name in...
Oh, what a feeling!
Tough truck.
Tim Ryan with Johnny Morris. And I don't know whether they're likely to give him a game ball, but we'll certainly give credit to defensive coordinator Buddy Ryan, my namesake, no relation. Look at this. A fake and a first down for Skabinski. The short snap to Skabinski on the Bears' 4th down, and he ran it over the 30 to the 29 of New Orleans, and the Bears will keep the ball. How about that one, Johnny?
Well, the Bears had pretty good field position there, and I guess they figured they couldn't lose too much. I don't know what Dick Nolan's going to think about it with the score 22-7 and less than 2 minutes to go. He might think, I'm going to remember that for a long time.
22-3. Well, I guess on the other hand, you can say a
point differential has a factor.
Anything can happen in that final 2 minutes.
That's right.
Why risk it? They kept the ball. I call that a good play, good football. I'm sure they won't be going in to score here, but they'd like to just keep the ball. Phipps tripped. He gives it to Payton. Payton wants to throw, and he does deep for Bashnagel. Flags everywhere. Payton threw it into Lake Michigan. And we had flags down, quarterbacks down. I said they weren't going to try to score. I thought they'd just try to move the ball, and they're going for everything here. And meanwhile, the penalty is against New Orleans.
Well, they jammed Brian Bashnagel way down the field, and of course you can't do that when you get beyond the 5-yard mark. I think it was Clarence Chapman who was fooled on the play. Whoa, Phipps went down. He tripped coming out from behind the center. There's Payton, and he can really throw the ball.
Defensive holding, number 24, first down.
And I think it was a little out of the end zone, but it was Chapman who banged Brian Bashnagel when Bashnagel went by him. And actually it was a smart play because it would have been an easy touchdown.
Well, when you're hot, you're hot. And when you're not, you're not. Though. I mean, the Saints, they just really struggled. Payton gets a big ovation from the crowd as he comes out. I'm sure he'll sit the rest of this out. Suey and Williams are now the running back combo. Williams moving into the spot vacated by Payton. And Williams, out of the eye, got maybe 3 yards straight ahead to about the 22-yard line. 21 of the New Orleans Saints, with time ticking away and 50 seconds remaining to be played. We're talking about Buddy Ryan, whether he'd get a game ball or not, but he's the defensive man that Neil Armstrong brought over from Minnesota when Armstrong got the head coaching job, and Bud Grant lost 2 outstanding coaches when they came to Chicago, and Ryan has done an outstanding job. He's got to be a happy man today because his defense was just overwhelming.
That may be one of the reasons Minnesota lost 42-7 today.
Rocco Moore is in at offensive tackle for the Bears as they wind it down here with 15 seconds and counting. Phipps just covering the ball. And they're going to come out the field and just let the scoreboard count it off. So the Chicago Bears, with that man coming up with a 69-yard touchdown to cement it, have defeated the Saints 22-3. And we thank all of these names going by quickly on your screen. Our producer Bob Rowe, our director John McDonough, associate producer Rupert Kopanich, and our outstanding technical crew for another outstanding job here at Soldier Field in Chicago today. The Bears with 2 big plays, 56-yard pass, Phipps to Robert Fisher, the rookie tight end, Walter Payton a 69-yard touchdown run, and brilliant defensive play have defeated the New Orleans Saints 22-3 and are 1-1 on the season.